super dimensional strategy starting with Batman. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1 Hyperdimensional Website. Looking at the few clicks, Bayside. It seems that I'm not doing this. Let's change the theme. Change what? He is a small up of a video website. Originally, he cut some movies and mixed them. There were only a few hundred people in the thread, which was horrible. Now there are too many similar themes, and it is too convoluted, and it is too difficult to make new ideas. So, he is going to make a few more blockbusters to stimulate his brain and see if he can find inspiration. One swipe is a whole day, starting with Iron Man, X-Men, and ending with Batman, The Dark Knight. After watching it, I feel suffocated. That is to say, Iron Man should be cool. X-Men and Batman are so aggrieved. What the heck? If I were Professor X or Magneto, would I be able to make my own people feel so suffocated? If I were Batman, I could make Joker so rampant. If I were Magneto, if I were Batman, so Bay's mind flashed, and he felt inspired. Then, start Kaka's video cutting and dubbing. It took several days to cut 3 videos. At this time, a message popped up. Multidimensional video website invites you to upload videos. So, Bay rolled his eyes. What broken website? What broken name? Originally, he was going to click the cross, but suddenly he thought that the video website he was on was too big. Why don't he find a small website to try? Otherwise, upload this website. On the contrary, you are a little transparent. Try it. He registered an account, named it Super Dimension Strategy Group, and then uploaded a video of Super Dimension Strategy. If I were Batman to test the water. Gotham. Batman Bruce Wayne is investigating intelligence about the Joker. Joker's sudden appearance made him angry. He tried his best to save Gotham, but he felt that nothing had changed in Gotham, and even a character like Joker appeared in Gotham. But at this moment, a projection screen suddenly popped up in front of him, and it appeared so suddenly without warning. Batman couldn't help but wonder, what is this? How did it come about? There is no one other than Afu here, and it is impossible for anyone to come in. And I don't know it at all. Even if someone hacked into his system, he didn't have such a device that could project a virtual screen. How did this person do it? Why would he do this? Mastered my identity and threatened me. Batman puts his attention on that virtual screen with the only video on it. Hyperdimension Raiders. If I were Batman. What the hell? The extreme north. Below the extreme ice layer, Superman Clark's eyes spewed 2 red lights, melting the ice and snow, and opened a path under the ice and snow, leading to the spaceship left by his biological father, and behind him, Louise quietly followed him. Soon, he arrived at the spaceship. The door of the spaceship opened, and he walked in, floating in the air. The statue-like Kryptonian smart device activated. Immediately, scanned his DNA, and began to play his father's photo. Louise sneaked in, alerted the ship's defense system, and Superman appeared to save her. Just when she was in shock, a projection screen suddenly appeared in front of them both. The Krypton smart device immediately alerted the police. Warning, warning, unidentified information detected, unable to trace the source, unable to check information security, unable to contact, unable to close. Superman was slightly surprised. He still had a superficial understanding of Krypton's technology. I don't know how many years ahead of the technology on Earth. Even Krypton technology can't understand this projection. So how did it come about? What does it want to do? Is it Krypton's enemy? However, I didn't feel aggressive at all. At this time, he finally noticed the video called Super Dimension Raiders. If I were Batman. Batman. Both he and Louise have heard of it. Is this the legendary Gotham vigilante? The outlaws who hide their heads and show their tails all day long, thinking that they can represent the law. But that's it. With Batman's force, his information appeared in this high-tech place in this way. It is simply out of line. New York. Iron Man takes down Iron Man and confesses his identity in front of the media. As soon as he got home, he saw a black figure at home. The black figure was a burly black man with a blindfold and a shiny bald head. It was the S.H.I.E.L.D. director, Nick Fury. Iron Man became alert. Having been kidnapped, he had already upgraded his security system to the highest level, yet he was actually broken in like this. Not a nice guy. Nick Fury said coldly, Tony Stark, Iron Man tit for tat, who are you? At this moment, a projection screen suddenly appeared in front of the two of them. Iron Man was shocked. What did you do, Nick? Fury was also dumbfounded. You didn't do this, mutant. School. Professor X, with long flowing hair and a full beard, laughed wantonly while drinking, and said to Wolverine, there's no Professor X here, you've got the wrong person. It was then that Wolverine understood why Professor X would say that when sending herself back to this time. This guy's completely useless. He wanted to say more, but at this moment, a projection suddenly appeared in front of Professor X, Wolverine, and Beast. Professor X and Beast looked horrified. Is this the high-tech of the future? Wolverine said, I only have consciousness, and I can't bring anything in the future? This is not what you put in my mind. After confirming the eyes, it was not the other party's doing. Who did that? Chapter 2. What? Bruce Wayne as Batman. At this moment, when everyone was surprised, several people suddenly found that there were several identical virtual projection screens around them, and their appearances appeared in these virtual screens. Louise recognized Batman on the screen at a glance, and said in surprise, Bruce Wayne of Wayne Group. You did this? Are you following me? Go. What is this? Live delivery. I was recognized. Batman was startled, then relieved. Since I wasn't wearing a bad battlesuit, they didn't know I was Batman. He looked at Superman and Louise, and focused on the high-tech equipment behind them. That didn't look like Earth. What's up with these two? Could this virtual screen be made by them? He was a little angry. Who are you? Louise didn't think of this. She explained. I'm Louise, a reporter from the Daily Planet. This is, speaking of this, Louise remembered that this was an alien, and she was still on the alien spaceship. This virtual screen exposes these. Could it be that the Wayne Group is tracking itself just to find the alien spaceship? She is starting to worry. In her eyes, these big consortiums are not good birds. Superman also noticed the human high-tech equipment around Batman. His eyes were a little cold. This is what you did. Are you following me, Bruce? Wayne is a famous rich man in the beautiful country, and Superman definitely knows him too. He thought that this evil capitalist had tracked him down to find out where the Krypton spacecraft was. Damn. Bruce Wayne, what is he trying to do? At this time, Iron Man on the side felt a little uncomfortable, as if he was being ignored. The bald head on the side is so surprised. It doesn't look like he did it. Haven't heard of the Wayne Group. Can they create such a large virtual screen in their own home without even realizing it, and let Jarvis not even notice it? What exactly do they want to do? Iron Man's eyes fell on the other people, and he said, whatever you do, play this joke with me. I don't like it. Seeing that the smell of gunpowder was getting stronger and stronger, Professor X sighed in his heart. He thought that this was probably something that some mutant did, but now he doesn't want to care about anything. Don't look for me. Don't care about me. I'm a waste. And Wolverine is nervous. Is this Sentry Black technology tracked from the future so arrogant? That's when the only video started playing. The screen jumped, revealing an image of Bruce Wayne. Name: Bruce Wayne. Nickname: Batman. Character profile: the greatest detective in the human world. The most powerful warrior of mankind, proficient in all kinds of fighting skills, each of which is perfect. Physical strength, stamina, ability to fight. All aspects of the body have reached the limit of human beings. Proficient in various torture techniques. He is a master of fear, a master of psychology, a master of strategy, a master of tactics. Proficient in all kinds of weapons, all kinds of vehicles, including, but not limited to, cars, planes, helicopters, fighter jets, submarines. At the same time, he has a very high theoretical knowledge of science and technology, is a powerful engineer, and is good at manufacturing all kinds of black technology equipment. He is the elder of the Justice League and the brain of the Justice League. He thinks carefully, always expects the enemy to be the first, has no fear of the enemy, always has equipment corresponding to any situation, and can always win against any enemy. Unlike the rest of the Justice League, he does not have any super ability. Yes, he is super rich. He has only one principle in his actions, not to kill. The video is playing the screen while showing the introduction of the characters. When it is said that he is the most powerful warrior of mankind, the picture is of him rebelling against the water in the Assassin League, overturning the entire Assassin League with one person, and even the picture of him beating the Scarecrow and Joker. Those vicious criminals were as powerless as children under his fist point. Batman was stunned. What am I exposed like this? Even the things I did in the past were recorded. His scalp was numb. Who did it? What exactly does he want to do? Superman and Louise were equally stunned. They didn't expect that the rich second generation, who was famous for doing nothing all day on the surface, was actually the urban legend of Gotham. Batman, a super rich second generation, can be a vigilante. Moreover, looking at these introductions, so powerful. Is this still a human? Are these things that humans can do? Superman is also very strong, but it comes from his bloodline. Unlike Batman, his strength is acquired through hard training. Except for money, others can't believe their eyes. There are such awesome people in this world, but it was only the appetizers in the next picture that shattered their 3 views. When the subtitles say he's always equipped for any situation and can always win against any enemy, it shows a drawing of his fight with Superman. Superman fell from the sky, looked at Batman in heavy suit, and said sincerely, "Bruce, don't do this. I was wrong." Batman stepped back step by step, and then Superman stepped on the switch, instantly making strong high frequency noises on both sides. This is a pain for Superman, who has super hearing. And Superman just bent down, picked up the manhole cover on the ground, tore the manhole cover in half like a piece of paper, and destroyed the high frequency sound wave device. Then Superman walked up to Batman, tapped it lightly, and Batman flew out like a rag pocket. No, 4 drone guns were raised on both sides, shooting frantically at Superman. But these bullets hit Superman and they didn't do anything at all. Superman's eyes spewed red light, turning these machine guns into molten iron. He carried Batman through the building and threw Batman to the ground. "Stop, Bruce." Superman was about to stop, but Batman staggered to his feet and threw a smoke bomb. Superman didn't care. He didn't want Batman to shoot another arrow. Superman caught it, and the arrow exploded, and a cloud of green smoke burst out. That's kryptonite dust. Superman felt weak. Batman walked over. Superman punched him, and he raised his hand to hold it. He said contemptuously, "You are not brave at all. Human beings are brave." Seeing this picture, everyone is stupid. Iron Man said, "What is this? CG? This is too ridiculous. Is there someone whose eyes can emit laser light? What is the Wayne Group? This is your new movie." Wolverine disdainfully said, "Have you not seen it? I have also seen someone who can set fire and lightning." Nick Fury added, "I've also seen people who can shoot energy waves with their hands." Iron Man is also stunned. "What world do you live in?" Professor X murmured. "What a powerful mutant." Wolverine also nodded. With his knowledge, a mutant as powerful as Superman is really rare. Compared to these spectators, the two parties were really deceived. Batman's eyes straightened, and he was even more shocked than when his identity was revealed before. "I will fight such a monster in the future. Is this man so powerful? Indestructible? He also has lasers in his eyes? The profile says I can defeat any enemy. How can I win this kind of monster? No, this person is familiar." His eyes fell on Superman, who was projected to the side. Superman also looked at Batman at the same time, and was also shocked to the extreme. "That person is me. It can only be me. I will fight this vigilante." Why? No matter how strong he is a very strong human being, and he cannot stop him. "Got a punch from me." No. Why did he block it later? That green fog. Now, Superman don't know what kryptonite is. At this time, the screen changed again, but I saw that Batman was already flying a bat fighter. He was driving a fighter jet and was luring a deformed monster nearly 10 meters tall, and then he was shot down. At this time, Superman rushed over and fought the monsters hand to hand. This is a picture of them fighting Doomsday. Their battle was devastating, and the entire city was reduced to rubble in the midst of their war. At the same time, there was also a beautiful woman holding a round shield and a sharp sword to cut off the monster's hand. It's just that the monster seems to be the regenerative healing factor. The severed hand is recovering, and it is still absorbing the surrounding energy that is getting bigger and bigger. The two-part is stupid again. What the hell is this? Why did we fight to death before? And now the two sides joined forces to fight monsters. Is there such a monster on Earth? And who is this woman? Everyone's interest was attracted, and they were curious about what the video was about. Don't even believe the picture is the real Iron Man and Nick Fury. This mysterious person played a video for himself in this way, so he shouldn't use CG to entertain us. Right? Thank you for reading this story at mutlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 3, Joker Must Die. The screen flashed again, but it was Batman who dodged behind the huge amounts of the monster and shot the monster. A cloud of green fog exploded, and the monster was obviously weakened. Then Superman took the green spear and pierced the heart of the monster, and the undead monster died. Superman and Doomsday die together. Superman finally couldn't hold it any longer and asked, "I just died like this? Bruce, what is this?" Batman is still stunned. "I said I don't know. I haven't done these things. Will you believe it?" Superman paused for a moment and said, "I believe. But it's obviously me and you." Although he believes that the person in the picture is himself. But these things, I have never experienced it. At this time, Iron Man also said, "The people in this picture, are you too? Who are you, Professor X?" Finally couldn't help but say, "Bruce, are you really an ordinary person? How can an ordinary person be so strong?" Batman said depressedly, "I don't know. One day, I will fight with this monster level enemy." Superman was a little angry. "I'm not a monster, Professor X educated mutant's nature and said, "I know, you are not a monster. You just have some special ability." Superman was stunned again. Seeing their own performance, most people will regard themselves as monsters, right? This person only said that I have a special ability. This is a good person. Nick Fury's bald head is sweating profusely, and this man is almost as dangerous as Captain Marvel. I don't even know there are such powerful people on Earth. No, I must find out who he is. At this time, the screen changes again. Batman was attacking a fortress-like thing in his Batmobile, surrounded by strange creatures with wings and armor attacking him. Seeing that his car was about to be destroyed, the woman who had fought the monster earlier appeared and stood in front of the car. Then a man in armor with 3 halberds also jumped into the car and picked up those winged monsters. A black man with full armor flying in the sky flew over a man in strange red armor with white lightning lingered around his body. Was running around, and his speed was so fast that he couldn't see it at all. Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Aquaman, the Flash appeared at the same time. This is a picture of them fighting Steppenwolf. Nick Fury looked at the demonoid and said stupidly, "What are these aliens?" There was a feeling of beeping in his heart. So many things happened on the Earth. How could I not know? After calming down, Batman said, "I have a guess. This is a picture that may happen in the future." Future? How is this possible? All are unbelievers. Batman said, "I don't know what this is. Since he appeared so suddenly, he can also take pictures of what I did in the past. It is not impossible to take pictures of what will happen in the future." The more he thought about it, the more likely it was, especially what happened at the headquarters of the Assassin League could not be recorded. There was no such equipment in that place, but he still appeared on the video. Also, the Scarecrow to combat these pictures too was impossible. Someone's so explain shot these pictures. People have incredible power, and this picture of people do is their own. The mighty, the eyes will shine man is the man the edge of the screen. We have not experienced this, but he was immediately shot down. After all, exclude the possibility that the remaining possibility seems incredible, then must be the truth. These things happen in the future, but was shot down. People, what kind of power? What people can do this degree? Even he, the whole body felt cold. The battle screen is finally over. To write long, but also cut a few mixed picture but nothing more. At this time, the screen sounded narration voice, "Bruce, Wayne, this super wealthy people, why would become a vigilante? This is definitely a reason. The picture changed again. Batman saw a familiar piece cannot be familiar. Alice see the memory of their parents. Then the robbers appeared. Gunshots rang. The mother of a broken necklace. A Wayne couple died in here. Subay narration sounded again. Parents died. Aroused the anger of Bruce Hartz. As he grew older, he could no longer sin of the entire Gotham City's brother turned a blind eye. So he went out. He has to find ways to cure Gotham of evil. He joined the League of Assassins. Very rigorous training to become the strongest. He laid the foundation of humanity. Back to Gotham after he became Batman. During the day, he is a second generation rich debauchery. At night, he is a sin against the Gotham vigilante. He knows the human heart of darkness, but also aware of his strong. If they opened the kill ring, he did not feel that they will be able to control the dark heart. He felt that time, he will cause immense damage. So, give yourself through a line, only one line, do not kill. It's not without reason. When Batman is completely plunged into darkness, he's terrible, really strikingly, but this also caused a lot of hard to imagine, disastrous consequences. For example, in the face of the Joker, Bay narration definitely also accompanied by a picture point. It began as Batman in various unconventional shaped reception terrible picture, and then his first showdown with the Joker. He will face the Joker paint sighted in the wall. Tell me, wouldn't in Joker? Without the slightest fear, strange smiles. Kill me and I'll tell you, this is my only principle. Then, you have to break this principle. Kill me, you got to save them. The Matt. First I was really Harvey to you, that lady. These words, other people heard strange, but Batman seconds to understand. These days, he contacted his former lover old Rachel and attorney Harvey Dent. Point the Joker caught Harvey and a woman. That woman make themselves so excited. It must be Rachel. Damn. Joker son of a B **ch. Other people also saw Batman's face. Nick Fury many years engaged in intelligence work. Immediately got my guess from these faint clue. This Joker, grab your significant girlfriend. Batman. Calm down Rorschach. I will not let him get away. This is a matter not occur in the future. It will soon be determined. Because I was being hunted by the Joker * chapter 4 to deal with Joker. I have 3 methods. 3. Is this right? Everyone has a great fear of this mysterious and unpredictable super-dimensional strategy team. Iron Man said, if it's true, he's kidnapped your girlfriend and needs help, say so. Iron Man can't stand this kind of hijacking of other people's families. Batman never thought he would get someone willing to help him in this way. He said, thank you. If his identity is not exposed, he will definitely not accept it. But these people know their identity and are willing to help, and they seem to be able people, so there is no need to refuse. Iron Man said, where are you from? I've never heard of the Wayne Group. Batman said, the beautiful country, Gotham. Iron Man was stunned. I'm in a beautiful country. I'm a beautiful country. Is there a city like Gotham? Then, where are you? You do not know me. Are you famous? I'm Tony Stark, the helm of the Stark Group, billionaire, talented engineer, scientist, Iron Man. I'm in New York. Have not heard. Superman and Batman are both confused. This Tony Stark is very confident, but even Louise, a reporter, has never heard of the Stark Group in New York. At this point, Wolverine finally spoke. I'm a little concerned. I just found out that Superman, the equipment behind you, and Bruce, or Batman, the equipment beside you, looks very advanced. What the? Two are a little embarrassed. They are very advanced compared to this era. Iron Man frowned. It's very advanced, but it's about the same as me, isn't it? JARVIS. JARVIS'. Voice sounded, yes, Mr. Tony. 2. Robotic arms stick out, guns in their hands, pointing at Nick Fury. His security system is still there. Wolverine took a deep breath. So, aren't you guys from 1975? Definitely not. Several people said in unison. Wolverine let out a long sigh. I knew it would be like this. Maybe we are not the same era. We are here in 1975, and the Vietnam War has just ended. As Soon as these words came out, several people took a breath of cold air again. Although the appearance of this virtual screen is miraculous, it has not reached the point where it is completely incomprehensible point, but being able to speak to the people of 1975 is really beyond their understanding of technology. If it wasn't for Wolverine who just went through a time travel and knew the gap between the worlds. Technology in 1975 and later, he would never have thought of it. So, you are from a different era from us. Then, he pointed at Batman and Superman. What about them? The same beautiful country, but without the city, they said, and without the Wayne Group. A brainstorm started in his mind. Could it be a parallel universe? This guess shocked everyone, but after all, it was just a guess. They were stunned by what happened behind the video, and they all stopped talking. Joker said, "Dant is at 250 52nd Street. Rachel is at Cicero Street." Batman goes to save Rachel. The police go to Dant Point, but when Batman went to Cicero Street, he saw Harvey Dant Point. Then the bomb explodes. Harvey is seriously injured, and Rachel dies until she thinks Batman went to save Dant Point. Although she felt that Batman was right, she said in her heart that she was not sad. It was false. Iron Man was angry. Damn, this B*** D Joker. He did it. He made Rachel think before she died that you went to save that Harvey Dent. This is simply murderous. Batman clenched his fists. He really thought in his mind that with Harvey Dent around, Gotham wouldn't need Batman. He's been supporting Harvey Dent and doesn't want this to happen. His heart hurts, like it's about to burst. If it weren't for him, Joker wouldn't find them. Professor X shook his head and said, "This Joker is really a rare type. I have hardly seen this kind of pure evil. He did all this to make Batman break his only rule and become the same as him people. Although he has lost the ability to read minds now, he is still a master of psychology, and he is analyzing the reasons for Joker's actions." Sube's narration sounded again. Because of his refusal to kill, his ex-girlfriend Rachel died, and after Harvey Dent was seriously injured, he was stimulated to psychopath by Joker. He is no longer the light of Gotham. It's a two-faced person who decides whether to kill or not by tossing a coin. Not only is Rachel dead, but Harvey is blackened. Just because I didn't kill Joker, kill you. B*******D. I'll kill you. Batman roared angrily in his heart. Sube's narration sounded again. It was only a personal blow to him. Joker escaped countless times after being imprisoned in Arkham Asylum, killing countless people, and the most terrifying time was when he killed Superman's girlfriend Louise, made Superman angry with Blacken, killed Joker, and attacked all evils in the world with absolute force, which caused the division of the Justice League and made Superman become a god among men. This part has not been filmed yet, but it is mentioned in ZHADO Zenglian Easter egg. Sube also cut some clips. Louise and Superman are dumbfounded again. Will we be a couple? Will Louise be killed by Joker? Will Superman become a god on Earth? What does this mean? The narrator continued, Batman and Superman are really miserable. Joker is Batman's first heavyweight opponent, so, as Batman, can you completely solve the problems caused by Joker without violating his principles? Definitely. Yes, and there are countless ways. Here are 3 for the time being. Seeing this, everyone understands why this video is called Super Dimension Raiders. If I were Batman. No wonder this video is called Super Dimension Raiders. It's giving Batman a way to deal with his enemies. If this is the case with Batman, will the mysterious man behind the scenes also make a strategy for himself? Asterisk Chapter 5 Your super ability is rich, then kill Joker with money. Sube's narration continued, to deal with a person, you have to understand a person. You don't need to know about Joker's past, because after becoming a Joker, he is completely different from his previous self. What we need to understand is what Joker's experience after becoming a Joker. In the narration, a group of people in masks robbed the bank, saying that it was Joker who planned it all. The robbers felt that Joker was not among these people, but all who watched the video felt that Joker himself must be among them. 2 robbers cut off the bank's communication from above, and when they were done, one robber killed the other immediately. The robbers below, after the vault opened, one robber killed another robber. These are all Joker. Arrangements. Of the 3 remaining robbers, 1 died in a school bus crash, 1 was killed by a bank security, 1 was shot by a fellow robber, and only 1 survived. Finally, in front of the bank security guard, the surviving man took off his mask and put on Joker makeup on his face. Sure enough, he was the real Joker. He stuffed the grenade into the mouth of the bank security guard and said nervously, "I always believe that sentence. Those who can't kill you will only make you more strange." Then, he jumped on the school bus drove away, the firing pin of the grenade opened, and the school bus mixed into other school buses and left safely. This new robbery made everyone look at each other in dismay. Iron Man slapped his tongue. How cruel. Sure. Enough. He is very good at playing with people's hearts. Nick Fury said, he has a very accurate grasp of people's psychology. Judging from the reactions of these robbers, these are all old robbers, and they are actually fooled by a few words from him. Cannibalism. Although Joker's performance is a little weird now, few people haven't looked at him yet. After all, if you can fight, Joker can also fight, but neither Batman nor Iron Man put his combat prowess in their eyes, not to mention a few other people with extraordinary powers. This is just a robber who is good at planning and playing with people's hearts. This kind of person is only dangerous, and it can't be said that it is difficult to deal with. Then the scene changes. It is an abandoned warehouse, and there is a lot of money. Those were money that Joker robbed from the bank before, and belonged to the gangster. Joker said to the gangster, "I don't care about this kind of thing. I just like gasoline, bombs, and gasoline." After speaking, people poured gasoline on the pile of money and burned it all. Everyone looked at each other. There is no shortage of rich people here. Batman and Iron Man have seen too much money, but they don't burn it like this. Since it is going to be burned, why is it so hard to rob the bank? Everyone sighed. This is a lunatic. The picture changed again, and it was Joker who mixed into the hospital and met Harvey Dent, whose half of his face was burned. Everyone thought that Joker was here to kill Harvey, but they didn't want Joker to chat with Harvey. He said, "Harvey, I don't want any unhappiness between us, you, and that." Harvey growled. Rachel, Joker, seemed startled and said, "I didn't put the explosives. I was at the police station." Harvey said angrily, "That's your plan." Joker waved his hand quickly, like a child admitting his mistake. "Look, do I look like someone with a plan? I'm just a puppy who likes to chase buses. After catching up, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just do whatever I want. The police have a plan. Gordon has a plan. The gang has a plan. Everyone has a plan. They are all conspirators. The conspirators have a plan. I'm not a conspirator. I don't have a plan. You tell people that a punk will die, and no one will panic. You tell people that a carload of soldiers will die, and no one will panic, because these are all planned. But when I say an old man will die, people go crazy." After he finished speaking, he took out the gun, stuffed it into Harvey's hand, and asked Harvey to point the gun at his forehead. "Create a little riot, destroy all the existing order, and everything will fall into chaos. I am the agent of chaos. You know what the essence of chaos is. It's fair. Come on, let the coin in your hand decide my life or death." This absurd reasoning is hard to hear. Professor X's eyes finally became serious. This is a complete lunatic. He doesn't care about anything, including his own life. He just wants to make the world extremely chaotic. He's dangerous, more dangerous than I thought. Bruce, you must take it seriously. Professor X is an expert in psychology, and his ability has seen too many people, but he has never seen such pure evil. The same goes for everyone else who just finds this moment of Joker creepy. It's not how powerful he is, but this twisted thought. Nick Fury said, "What is the principle of not killing? This kind of person is shot down." No shit. Wolverine agrees. "If it wasn't for the time period we didn't think about, I'd kill him for you." Then the screen changed again, but it was Joker who controlled 2 ships and gave 2 detonators to the people on both sides of the boat. Joker said, "After 12 o'clock, I will detonate your ships, but I gave you the detonator on the other side's ship. If one of you blows up the other ship before 12 o'clock, then I'll let the other ship go. Or else, everyone, bang." Joker's performance made everyone feel cold. Even Superman is like this. He is not afraid of anyone in terms of power, but this kind of pure evil is really scary. This time even Iron Man said, "This lunatic, fall into my hands. I will not let him go." So, base narration continued. Now we know, Joker is a lunatic who likes to throw the whole world into chaos, and the laws of the beautiful country of the lunatic are useless. Ordinary mental hospitals can't keep him. Those doctors who come to treat him will be turned into lunatics by him. He is extremely motivated and understands people's hearts. He is will use his distorted and chaotic thoughts to contaminate others. He's not afraid of death or pain, so Batman's conventional methods won't work for him. But Batman is a super rich, beautiful country, and money is everything. He can find the best and most expensive lawyer and let that lawyer prove that Joker is not mentally ill, so he can legally let Joker die as long as he has money. Whether Joker is a lunatic or not, in court, he can only be a lunatic. Even in the beautiful country, Batman can use his money to lobby the legislators in Congress to create a law for Joker and use legal means to legally let Joker die. This all a view are from a beautiful country, and with that said, everyone thinks this is really possible. Spending money to lobby and promote new laws. Isn't this the normal state of the rich? Using a lawyer to achieve your goals is the norm for the rich. Sube's narration continued. This is the first type, using money to kill Joker, and it's reasonable and legal. The second type is spending money. Isn't Batman's super ability just rich? Batman built a lunatic asylum by himself to detain those crazy criminals, injecting sedatives with sleeping pills every day, and letting them sleep every day. In this way, there is no possibility of escape. Batman's only principle is not to kill, and thus not to kill. This really cruel. It's not as good as killing these criminals with one shot. The narrator continued. The third type, exile Joker on an isolated island, away from the isolated island in the world. Find a way to hide it, and let Joker fend for itself on it. If you really think the money can't be spent, doesn't Clark have a spaceship? Use the spaceship to send Joker to Mars, and build a small ecosystem to let him fend for himself. The most terrifying thing about Joker is his mind. His fighting ability is not good, and it is easy to deal with. There are always more ways than difficulties. Jumping out of Batman's previous framework, you will find that there are 30 ways to deal with him, not to mention 3. It's really a strange idea, but combined with what Joker did in the video, this may really be the best way for him. The narrator continued. Joker is Batman's most important opponent, and will haunt him for the rest of his life. I hope he can solve Joker quickly. In the next issue, for the second enemy Batman will face, Luthor and Doomsday will be the strategy. These are completely different opponents. Naturally, there are completely different strategies, and they will be much tougher. Then, the video disappeared, but 2 new videos appeared. Super Dimension Strategy, Iron Man Super Dimension Strategy, Professor X. These are the other 2 videos that Sube has edited. At first, he just wanted to upload one to test the water, but then he thought about it and decided to upload it together. If you have enough volume, maybe someone will like this series. This chapter has a lot of words, but Oahu is really small. Has anyone read books on this subject? Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 6 Despised by Everyone. Iron Man, just an arms dealer. Batman's strategy video has come to an end, and these viewers are still in shock and still have infinite questions. How did this virtual screen appear? Who did this? And why did he do it? And, most importantly, it's all true and false point. But I didn't want to, and suddenly there will be 2 other videos. Who is Professor X? Batman and Iron Man don't know, but Iron Man has introduced himself before. Everyone's eyes turned to Iron Man. Iron Man pondered, although I'm not sure, and I don't think other people can give me any advice, but it's okay to take a look. Then look at this about me first. Everyone nodded. Iron Man clicked on Super Dimension Raiders. Iron Man. The video popped up, and sure enough, an image of Iron Man appeared. Name: Tony Stark. Nickname: Iron Man. Introduction: Howard Stark's son, chairman of the Stark Group, billionaire, Playboy, super genius, genius scientist, world's #1 engineer, inventor of the arc reactor, creator of a super personal mech, Avengers veteran, Avengers source of finance, technology backbone. The names of these profiles are not much worse than Batman. Images of Iron Man also appear on the video. He is showing the new weapons of the Stark Group to the military of the beautiful country. A missile split off dozens of warheads, destroying a mountain, and Iron Man stretched out his hands, holding red wine, smug and high-spirited. Seeing this picture, Wolverine murmured, with so many introductions, I thought I was a great scientist. But it turns out, it's just an arms dealer. Even Batman and Superman changed their expressions when they saw Iron Man. In the limited communication before, Iron Man was a little narcissistic, but it wasn't to annoying point. But one pair of arms dealers, the two also have no good face. Iron Man touched his face and felt a little embarrassed, but his eyes quickly recovered. These black histories were stains that he couldn't erase, but he was no longer the arms dealer who only knew how to make a fortune. Nick Fury's pupils contracted, and his face changed greatly. Avengers? How is that possible? He came to Iron Man this time to discuss the establishment of the Avengers. He is the only one who knows about this. Why is it in this profile? Before Batman said that this video was made by someone who edited the past and future, he scoffed, but now he believes it. The introduction on the video continued. It turns out that Iron Man was just an unscrupulous arms dealer who was attacked by terrorists when he was selling arms to the military. In the picture, Iron Man is sitting in a military vehicle, bragging with the soldiers, and he has made a few more stars, which perfectly shows the Playboy style. Suddenly there was a loud bang, a bomb fell, and the car blew up. Iron Man climbed out of the car with difficulty. At this time, he saw a bomb in front of him with his Stark Group logo on it. Then the bomb exploded, and he fell to the ground. He tore off his body armor and saw the bulletproof vest has been pierced, and blood is flowing out. Professor X was surprised. You were bombed by your own missile. Wolverine sneered. What should this be called? Self-inflicted. Iron Man's face is extremely ugly, not because he made a fool of himself in the video, but there is no way someone could take this picture. Is all this true? Do you really have the ability to edit your past actions into pictures? Even the future can be edited. His last trace of suspicion was also dispelled in the next screen. The narration sounded, the terrorists kidnapped him and wanted Iron Man to build weapons for himself. But Iron Man was in the cave and used some leftovers to build the first generation of the arc reactor. That is, controllable fusion technology. In the video, Iron Man has an iron ring embedded in his chest. The iron ring is connected to the battery, and the magnetic force is used to control the bomb fragments from entering the blood vessels. This was created by Dr. Inson, who was also a prisoner, to save him. And Iron Man was in this cave, and he took down those missiles, and made up his first generation armor. Iron Man's face turned pale. He said, Batman, I believe what you said now. These videos are indeed real. They were cut from the past and the future. Because of these pictures, it is impossible for anyone to take pictures. Batman was also shocked and inexplicable. You created controlled nuclear fusion in this cave. Professor X and Beast both stared in disbelief. Controlled nuclear fusion. This is the energy in the dreams of human beings. If you control this, human beings will have enough power to enter space and enter the space age in the true sense. Such an epoch-making invention. Is this person actually knocking these out with some junk in the cave? The cow is heaven. Although this man is a disgusting arms dealer, the genius scientist, the world's #1 engineer, really deserves his name. The screen changes again. Iron Man's body is no longer the shoddy first generation armor. It has become a classic armor with red and yellow colors. He went in and out of Kingming and attacked terrorists everywhere. There are also scenes of fighting against Iron Overlord Baston and against Whiplash Ivan, all in a flash. The narration sounded at the same time. After these accidents, Iron Man realized how wrong it was to be an arms dealer. He closed the military industry department of Stark Industries and focused on the research of clean energy, and he himself became Iron Man, wearing his own armor to fight crime, fight terrorists, and defeat the Iron King Abaston, who took his technology, and also control the whip of the arc reactor Ivan. And at the prompt of Nick Fury, I found a solution to the palladium poisoning caused by the arc reactor. I was invited by Nick Fury to join the Avengers. For an Avenger, we also ushered in his first real enemy, the third prince of Asgard, the descendant of the giants of Jotunheim, the evil god Loki. Asterisk. Chapter 7 Evil God Loki? What a weak god. This is how Iron Man transformed from an arms dealer to a crime-fighting superhero point. Although this turning point was huge, it was not incomprehensible, and everyone couldn't help feeling a little emotional, and their senses of Iron Man were also changing rapidly. Point at first, Iron Man's enemies were just ordinary terrorists, criminals with high-tech skills, but suddenly the picture changed. Iron Man's enemies turned into Asgard's evil god Loki. From a sci-fi painting style to a fantasy painting style, it almost broke everyone's waist. The evil god Loki? Asgard? Is there really a god in this world? This simply shocked Batman. For 100 years Superman was also stunned. Is there a god on Earth? He knows that he is an alien. The universe is so big, there are other worlds with intelligence, and life is easy to understand. Point. But there is a god. Even Superman finds it incredible. Point. After all, the legendary gods are omnipotent. Does this world really exist? Wolverine choked on the smoke from the cigar in his mouth, and Professor X directly spit out a sip of wine. Point. The existence of mutants in this world is incredible enough. But now there are even gods, Wolverine murmured. Is there really a god? He has lived for hundreds of years, and he has encountered all kinds of strange things, but it is still somewhat unacceptable for him to say that there is a god in the world. Point. Professor X even wondered if they thought mutant was a god. The most shocking thing is Iron Man himself. Point. My special purpose is to fight some terrorists at most, and the great opponent is a careerist like a Baston. Now I have to fight with the gods. Are the days over? The footage of the video has switched to New York, and there are huge amounts of voids above New York. Point. Countless Chitauri rushed out of the hollow. They rode their chariots toward New York. For a while, artillery flew around, and the whole New York turned into ruins. In the video, Iron Man flight is in the air with weapons in disarray, shooting down one after another of Chitauri fighters. Then a huge amount of spaceship like a big fish drilled out of the hole. This makes everyone's heart tighten. This thing is too big, bigger than an aircraft carrier flying in the air, and its shape alone brings an infinite sense of oppression. Afterwards, countless Chitauri flight chariots flew out of the huge amounts of fish-shaped spaceships. Everyone's heart sank. Point. Then Iron Man fell from the sky, and beside him stood a few strange people. Point. A burly man in blue and white clothes with a shield in his hand. Point. A sexy and glamorous red-haired woman with a pistol. Point. A burly blonde man in armor, holding a hammer, wearing a red cloak. Point. There is also a short-haired shrewd man with a long bow in his hand. Point. Iron Man was even more stunned. Are these Asgard's troops? Are the Asgardians aliens? Aliens invaded? My teammates are actually these weirdos. Shield, pistol, bow, and hammer, and rely on these to fight aliens. And this man, dressed like this, do you think he's the captain of the United States? He can't help it. No matter how you look at it, these comrades in arms are so unreliable. Nick Fury said bitterly. Yes, that's the captain of the United States. We SHIELD just dug him out of the ice. That woman and that man are our SHIELD agents. I don't know the man in the red cape with the hammer. He had already completely believed that these pictures were real, and an indescribable feeling of powerlessness also filled his heart. Point. Are we relying on this group of people to fight the alien invasion? Enemies are spaceships, lasers. We just use pistols, shields, bows, and hammers. How to fight this? Then the huge amounts of fish-shaped spaceships swooped down, and a man who looked elegant and easygoing stood in front of Iron Man, showing a simple and honest expression. Tell you a secret, I can be angry at any time. Then, his body began to swell, suddenly became larger, and turned into a green giant. He punched out and directly hit the giant fish-shaped spaceship, blasting the alien spaceship into scum. Point. Then, he screamed up to the sky, jumped into the sky like a gorilla, and pinched those Chitauri to death. Everyone's mouth is O-shaped. What the hell is this? One punch to blow up an alien giant spaceship. Could this man be the legendary Hercules? No, Hercules is not green, nor is it the god of Asgard. Iron Man felt that the Hulk was a little familiar, and Nick Fury said bitterly again, this is the Hulk, Dr. Banner, and I originally wanted to absorb him into the Avengers. Iron Man covered his forehead. I really don't want to fight with these weirdos. I feel so ashamed. Then the screen turns again. Iron Man returns to his room, where he sees a man in a green cape holding a scepter. Everyone guessed that this person was the evil god Loki. Loki held the power of the mind on Iron Man's chest and wanted to control Iron Man. But totally ineffective. Next, Loki faced the Hulk, and the famous scene of the Hulk carrying Loki and smashing it on the ground like a sack shocked everyone. I'm going. This Hulk is so fierce. Wolverine slapped his tongue. This is the evil god Loki? I can't see how strong he is at all. Is he here to laugh? Louise almost laughed, but she couldn't laugh at the thought of this man causing so much damage on Earth. Do you need any strategy to deal with such a person? No need. Batman said. Superman just shook his head. Such a god is really vulnerable. In whose hands is this god? So funny. The feeling of tension that I had previously disappeared and became more relaxed, and everyone began to make fun of Loki. His performance and his name really do not match. The narration continued. The evil god Loki is the first formidable enemy Iron Man and Avengers face, compared to Hydra, the future super artificial intelligence Ultron, the universe overlord Thanos. Loki is not a very strong opponent. It's not that Loki ability is not good. Loki, who claims to be the #1 magician in the 9 realms, has very powerful spells and is good at illusion. If he is not stupid, he is a very difficult enemy to deal with, but he is indeed a fool, and in a way, he is as stupid as that second full brother Thor. In this Loki invasion, the greatest danger to Iron Man is not from Loki, but from humans. So, base narration once again shocked everyone for 100 years. Asterisk, if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8, Iron Man, am I so fierce? Why don't I know? Seeing this scene and hearing these words, Iron Man only felt a buzzing sound in his forehead. According to the video, I will form an organization with a few weirdos. It's called Avengers. Shame. And his enemies will range from the evil god Loki to Hydra, super artificial intelligence, and what cosmic overlord Thanos. What is this? And what? Hasn't the organization Hydra been wiped out long ago? Captain the United States took Hydra leader Red Skull and perished decades ago. Since then, there has been no news of Hydra. Could it be that after the Captain of the United States was dug out, the leader of Hydra was dug up too, and then Hydra came back to life? As for what kind of super artificial intelligence, Thanos, the overlord of the universe, even if you don't know who it is, it's hard to just hear the name. Even Iron Man didn't think he could be so good against so many characters. I started out just wanting to fight terrorists. Now I want to fight cosmic overlords. I haven't brushed my teeth yet, but in a flash, Iron Man had confidence in himself again. Tony Stark is a super genius after all. There is nothing in this world that I can't do. He is so confident and narcissistic, and he is indeed so strong. Nick Fury even felt that his brain exploded with a bang, and he couldn't believe his ears. Hydra. How could Hydra still exist? Hydra has long since been completely wiped out. Okay, nonsense. However, although there is not much information disclosed in the previous video, many of them are top secret information that only he knows, so he completely believes in this video. He didn't want to admit that the news was too shocking. However, he quickly calmed down. SHIELD director is not something ordinary people can do. So, Hydra really exists. With the urine of Hydra, since it exists, it is absolutely impossible not to make trouble. Such a big organization has been doing things all the time. How could my big SHIELD not notice it at all? His raw suction came down quickly, and a very terrifying possibility occurred to him. After the end of World War II and the destruction of Hydra, SHIELD has received some Hydra scientists and detained a group of important Hydra figures. Could it be these people who made Hydra grow again within SHIELD? After thinking about all the possibilities, he felt that this was the only possibility. Nick Fury knows how powerful the intelligence ability of SHIELD, which is supported by the whole world, Only by hiding inside SHIELD can an organization like Hydra be able to hide from SHIELD, and it has developed extremely powerfully, and it is possible to completely cover up the news of Hydra's existence because of the intertwining of SHIELD. Thinking of this, his scalp tingles. He couldn't imagine how far SHIELD had been infiltrated. Batman murmured, "What god? What kind of super artificial intelligence? Overlord of the universe, I thought my future was bad enough, Tony Stark, and the future on your side doesn't look too good. It seems that the parallel world thing you mentioned before is true. If everyone was in the same big and beautiful country, it would be impossible for me to not know the news that a super rich like Iron Man was kidnapped by terrorists." That video continues. Nick Fury is on the phone, shooting black eggs. "You can't do that. There's still Avengers over there, and so many people. I'm sure they can sort it out." The other end of the video said, "We can't just count on them. If these aliens are not eliminated, the entire Earth can be destroyed. As for the others, it's war. It's a necessary sacrifice." Nick Fury's objections were ineffective, and then the military fired the black egg. Seeing this scene, everyone scolded. Batman said coldly, "In order to eliminate aliens, I would rather eliminate so many of my own people, even in a beautiful country in a parallel universe. These politicians are exactly the same, which is really disgusting." Superman is very angry. "How can they do this?" Wolverine couldn't help taking a cigar. "Sure enough, these politicians are also a D***K in another world. There is no good bird. I just don't want to remember the feeling of being killed by a nuclear bomb." Hearing this, everyone couldn't help looking at him. "You said that you seemed to have been bombed by a nuclear bomb." Wolverine shrugged. "I was bombed once, but my physique is special, and I can't die. But it really hurts." "Can't die." I go, "Who are you to survive a nuclear explosion? It doesn't look like something is wrong at all." In the video, the black egg flies towards New York, and Nick Fury informs the Avengers. In the end, Iron Man stood up. He carried the nuclear bomb alone, and rushed to the big hole in the sky, passed through the space gate, and threw the nuclear bomb on the Chitauri fleet suspended in the cosmic starry sky. Iron Man opened his mouth again, and his client was stunned by himself. I so fierce. I'm actually going to charge the alien fleet with a nuclear bomb." He never thought he would do such a thing. Others, at this time, completely changed their minds about this arms dealer carrying a nuclear bomb to rush to the enemy. What kind of courage? Tony Stark, although stinky, but worthy of their admiration. Thinking about the mighty dude at the beginning of the video, who only knows how to spend his life, and now this real Iron Man is really different. Sube's narration continued. The invasion of Loki with the Chitauris is the first major crisis for Iron Man and Avengers, but backstabs from the upper echelons of humans are equally dangerous. How to deal with Loki and the others perfectly while facing the backstab of the higher-ups is very difficult, but that's what it means to do it. Chapter 9 began. Nonsense Raiders. Sudden cooling yesterday evening. I did not want to move, and the 4th is more delay. Make up today. Sube Raiders do these videos just because its mixed share flow is poor. It wants to engage in some tricks to absorb the flow bail. Thought would simply not be seen by the protagonist of the video. After doing the first Batman video Raiders, the Raiders he found himself doing too normal, although comply with logic, but not too eye-catching. No explosion. But he too lazy to change it. Behind the video, he decided to pursue a major event. The Raiders do more nonsense the better, definitely, but also a little bit of nonsense in illogical, not entirely nonsense. So, on Iron Man of the Raiders, he would do very crap. His voice narration continues. First of all, on Chitauri army, because they are the cellular structures of society. So Iron Man killed Chitauri leader after all Chitauri simultaneously death. Secondly, a black egg sufficient to destroy Chitauri flagship, which is a bit difficult to accept. The flagship able to participate in the universe World War II surprised to be scrapped. A black egg. Are the aliens so brittle it, no, big beautiful country aircraft carrier strength test of time, a month. It will be a boom. Scrapped aircraft carrier sink. No matter how alien is also the flagship aircraft carrier more than the anti-beat, right? World War II have been anti-cruiser black blast. A black egg solved Chitauri alien flagship, which is mostly like World War II. The Akagi Kaga-2 aircraft carrier's neon country is a powder keg bomb hit caused by detonation of a small probability event. Video Iron Man carrying into the space passage black egg, fried to Chitauri flagship. Chitauri flagship into a ball of fire. Chitauri off like those on Earth as a whole fell. All the audience feels some truth in the video. Which some pull. Black egg is very strong, but not strong enough to this point. World War II when the Prince Eugen, but after anti-black egg, it was just a heavy cruiser. In contrast, it was like an alien flagship papered, like about the narration was right. This is only a small probability event. Iron Man himself is nodded his head, and he felt afraid like guards, to destroy the entire alien fleet with a black egg. People cannot just hope. Lucky point. However, these are not the Asgard fleet. Chitauri is another wave of aliens. Narrator tone continued. So do the raiders. Be thoughtful, not luck. Iron Man need to deal with Loki. To deal with a complete Chitauri of fighting, only one way is the Iron Legion. Video. Screen to continue. A remote control steel armor flying in the sky, attacking the Legion of Hydra. These are the Avengers. Age of Ultron picture. Sube will it cut into it here. Iron Man is entirely ability to create a core of steel, a steel legion enough to fight Chitauri fleet. People, look to the Iron Man. His face is somewhat pale. Iron Man is fighting a strong enough, and if they have steel armor combat power of Iron Man, this is indeed a huge share of power, enough to fight Chitauri. However, a person has such powerful armed forces. This is very disturbing. In particular Wolverine, this Iron Legion, always reminded him Sentinel. Some shudder. Narrator continues, but he's a man, to have such a large private armed forces, not only in the lore or not, but also easily lead to hostility. Human world. Video. Humans have begun to ward those of the Iron Legion throw rotten eggs, so, this Iron Legion is best not built on Earth, built on the Mars bar. After the automatic production line is completed, you can blast soldiers on Mars, when the Iron Man hands with sufficient military power after they do not care about the big beautiful country, and you have a gun in the hands of big beautiful country willing to take to talk with you. Mars is not far away from the Earth and can continue SHIELD. Pegasus plans to Iron Man's strength, creating hyperdrive not too difficult, so the Iron Legion can always return to aid Earth. This will be solved at the same time. Chitauri and human backstab, too big problem. If you can create countless numbers of the Iron Legion, a nano armor upgrade, general aliens really beat. Definitely. The Iron Legion has its limitations. In time for the Super Ultron's artificial intelligence, these dishes is the armor. Every minute will be Ultron control. These natural raiders have resolved on the next raiders of it. Thanks for watching. Black screen down. Everyone looked to Iron Man. Some dignified atmosphere. Iron Man poured himself a glass of wine, said, some of the large amount of information, you let me reasonable grounds, that the plan some crazy. Nick Fury is very serious. Look at him. Tony, it's dangerous. Iron Man waved. I know, so I'll reasonable grounds. By the way, Hydra really still exist. Nick Fury and his face darker. He thought Iron Man is not the Hydra, or else someone else is not a world, or is not a timeline. It is impossible. Hydra people, however, to secrecy, he said. Well, after a while, we go into the details. At this time, Wolverine, watching the last video, said, we look at this video about Professor X's, and I really want to know how he let us solve the problem of mutant different from Iron Man and Batman. Mutant. Now the time has come to life and death. Accurate to say that genocide is a quick mutant. If this video raiders mutant crisis can be resolved, it would be great. Asterisk chapter 10 mutant appeared. Even Superman was stunned. Everyone recovered from the shock brought by the video just now. Although fighting a big monster that can't be killed and encountering alien invasions and the like, it's very frustrating. But now that they know in advance, even without this provided guide, Batman, Iron Man and the others feel that they can find a solution. Their attention also turned to this third video. Batman looked at Wolverine and said, you know this Professor X? Or is that you? Wolverine pointed to the decadent Professor X and said, it's him. Although Professor X is very decadent. He feels that, even if the strategy is useless, if he can predict the future, he may really be able to solve many problems. He saw a little bit of hope, a little bit out of that decadence point. He nodded and said, "My name is Charles Xavier. Professor X is just my nickname. I'll take a look too." After he finished speaking, he clicked on the video point. I saw a bald man in a wheelchair on the video point. Professor X couldn't help blinking. Is this me? Impossible. Even if I recover from my leg injury and can't walk. But my handsome hair, where has my flowing hair gone? Am I going bald in middle age? No way. The video shows the introduction of Professor X. Name: Charles Xavier. Nickname: Professor X. Introduction: the leader of mutant moderate faction, the most powerful psychic ability person in the world, has the most powerful new ability in the world, can perceive the human mind, control the human mind. If he wants, he can even momentarily kill all mankind. The video shows Professor X with a brainwave machine point. Professor X still has long hair fluttering, and he said excitedly, "This kind of power, this kind of powerful power, the unimaginable power, the dream power." As soon as the screen turned, the eyes of a group of soldiers suddenly became blank point. Then they walked over to the instrument, inserted the key, and entered the code point. Then the camera was pulled to the whole world, and missiles flew into the sky point. That was the famous scene in X-Men Apocalypse, where Professor X, who was controlled by Apocalypse, made humans shoot all black eggs in an instant point. In fact, even if Professor X doesn't control humans to launch black eggs, his powerful psychic power is enough to sneak into everyone's mind and make them commit suicide under the amplification of the brainwave machine point. In the picture, black eggs exploded in the sky. What? Batman yelled directly point. In just this moment, he sees Professor X as the greatest threat to mankind. The introduction says that Professor X is the leader of mutant moderate faction. Although Professor X only detonates black eggs in the air, from this perspective, it can even be said that Professor X is for the good of mankind point. But having someone who can kill all of humanity in an instant is definitely the biggest threat in the world point. Fortunately, not only are we not in the same timeline, we are not even in the same world. Superman can't believe his eyes. So strong is the telepathy ability, so terrifying to control a person's mind at will, and on a global scale. Can I stop it? Iron Man and Nick Fury are even more numb. This is more terrible than what Loki. What is the alien team? At least these people have no way to kill all the human beings in an instant, and there is absolutely no room for people to resist. Afterwards, the two of them breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he was not on the same timeline as us, otherwise such a terrifying person would really make people sleepless. Then another thought popped into everyone's mind. Who is mutant? The narration continued. Mutant is an experiment of the Tengen group on Earth, but they just gave up this experiment for some reason. In the video, there is a picture of the Tengen group point. It was a giant nearly 100 meters tall. He wore huge amounts of armor, 3 circles on his head, and a scepter in his hand point. The scepter just touched the ground lightly, and the entire planet turned into a rubble point. That's the scene in Guardians of Galaxy, where the Tengen group destroys the entire planet with the Power Stone point. After all, the Tengen group has rarely appeared in the Marvel movie universe, and Sube has not found much material, so he can make do with it point in this scene. Everyone felt numb again, including Superman point. Superman knows that he has a very powerful power, but he is not sure if he has the ability to destroy the entire planet with one blow point. Is this the god? Are gods so strong? Is there such a god in our universe? And Professor X is even more stupid. According to his constant research, he always thought that mutant was a natural mutation of human genes, but don't think that mutant is actually a test product of the gods. He didn't have a wry smile in his heart. If Eric could see this, he would no longer think that mutant is the future of human evolution point. The narration continued. Mutant is a recessive gene. If the gene does not become dominant, it will not benefit ordinary people. If the mutant gene awakening, there will be a powerful super ability, an Image of mutant appears on the screen. They saw a roar of sadness from Magneto, his hands on the ground, the world's magnetic field at his command. Countless planes, ships, and cars flew into the sky under his control. They saw Storm's eyes turn white, summoning a gust of wind into the sky, and then lightning. They saw Scott snap on his glasses and a red light shot out of his eyes, piercing everything. They saw that Wolverine was hit by countless bullets. But in a flash, the bullets were squeezed out of his body by his muscles. His wounds began to heal rapidly, sharp claws grew between his phalanxes, and the tanks were dismantled. Even if the previous picture was so shocking, seeing these still shocked everyone. But what shocked them even more was the next sentence of the narrator. Mutants have such a powerful force. Do you think they will do the best and be better than humans? On the contrary, they have been ostracized by humans, being hunted and oppressed. If there is resistance, there will be oppression. In this era, in order to resist and survive, Mutant gave birth to two leaders. One is the leader of the moderates, Professor X Charles Xavier, the headmaster of the mutant school. One is the leader of the radical faction, Magneto Eric Lensher, president of the Brotherhood. Asterisk. Chapter 11 is miserable. Mutant is miserable. Everyone felt that their brains were starting to run out of steam. Each of these mutants has the energy to destroy the world, and they will become the party threatened by human beings. Superman asked Professor X, who's the one with the glowing eyes. He even wondered if that person was his own race. Professor X shook his head bitterly and said, I don't know, at least I don't know now. Iron Man said to Wolverine, no wonder you said that you were bombed with black eggs before. I didn't believe it before, but now I believe it. So, you even have metal bones? Even metal will be vaporized in the black explosion. That's adamantium. It didn't grow out of me. Someone injected it into my body, and it's all over it. Wolverine laughed to herself. I won't die, but it will still hurt. Everyone was horrified at that moment. They didn't quite believe it before. Why is mutant being oppressed by humans with such a powerful force? How do humans oppress them? Now they seem to understand that someone was experimenting with mutant. For the first time in his life, Iron Man felt like he said something stupid. He's not good at apologizing, so he didn't say a word. Just keep watching the video. The narration sounded again. Magneto is Professor X's lifelong friend and lifelong rival. The difference between the two is also affected by the environment in which they grew up. The footage shows a young boy in pajamas walking into the kitchen with a baseball bat. A lady in the kitchen smiled and said, Charles, what are you doing? Who are you? Why did you become like my mother? So, I thought I was the only one special, and there are others. The little boy didn't open his mouth, but his voice was remembered in the lady's mind. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. The lady seemed to understand something, and her whole body cracked violently, as if it was broken into small fragments. Those small fragments turned into blue scales, and finally turned into a blue little girl. Everyone immediately understood that this little boy seemed to be Professor X's childhood. This little blue girl is another mutant, and both Beast and Wolverine couldn't help but glance at Professor X. It turned out that he and Raven had known each other for so long. It's no wonder that Raven's departure hit him so hard. Then the scene changed. It was raining heavily, and a group of people were driven into concentration camps by the Nazis. A little boy watched his mother being taken away, and shouted desperately to his mother. He reached out his hands to his mother in desperation, and the iron gate began to bend, shifting and rattle, and the little boy was knocked unconscious. The scene changes again, and the little boy is brought before a Nazi officer who asks the little boy to control the coins on the table. Little boys can't do it. The officer brought the child's mother, pointed the gun at the mother, and said, move it, or your mother will die. The little boy tried his best, but the coin didn't move. The officer lost patience and shot the little boy's mother dead. The little boy roared in despair, and then the whole room began to vibrate. Countless boxes scurried around. Phones flew into the sky, and the helmets on the heads of several soldiers who were escorting his mother suddenly shrank, crushing the soldiers' heads directly. But at this time no one would blame the little boy. The Nazis were simply not individuals. The narration continued. Professor X has not suffered much from his superior living conditions. Have you ever seen too much suffering? So relatively mild to humans, and Since Magneto was imprisoned by the Nazis and his mother was killed by the Nazis, he was very radical towards human nature. Both want to lead mutant to a bright future, but one wants to make humans accept him and integrate into humanity. One is to lead mutant to rebel against humanity and create a future that belongs to mutant. It can only be said that Professor X is too naive, probably because he has seen too many human beings and can feel the faint light in human hearts, so he chooses to believe in human beings. But he can see through the human mind, but he doesn't understand human nature. Seeking peace through struggle, peace will survive, and seeking peace through compromise, peace will perish. This is the principle of exile everywhere. Everyone immediately understood that the little boy behind was Magneto. Can he controlling magnetic field? Superman cares more about the phrase, to seek peace through struggle, peace will survive, and to seek peace through compromise, peace will perish. Is that true? After all, he only grew up on a farm in a beautiful country, and no one had ever said such a thing to him. What should I do if I get sidelined by humans, like mutants in the future? Should I fight for peace too? Batman and Iron Man, Nick Fury all nodded. The truth is indeed the truth, but they are all human. Although they didn't want to see mutant being bullied by humans, they also didn't want to see mutant bullying humans. Is there no way to live in peace? Then the screen turns again. The sky was dark, and there were countless coffin-like spaceships flying in the air. Then the coffin-like ships opened the hatch, and countless sentinels flew down from them. Everyone else couldn't help but look at Iron Man. Iron Man immediately shook his head. It's not like I made it. Wolverine gritted her teeth and said, these are sentinels, my kind. Mutants, nearly killed by them. The screen turned again, and the fireman was madly breathing fire towards a sentinel. However, a layer of ice formed on Sentinel's body, and the living person was directly crushed to death by the fire. Iceman made a large piece of ice and froze Sentinel, but Sentinel released a lot of heat energy, melted the ice, twisted Iceman's head, which had become a piece of ice, and stepped on his head. The bishop frantically absorbed the energy wave sent by Sentinel, but was eventually torn to pieces by the energy wave. Storm summoned lightning and shot down a large piece of Sentinel, only to be stabbed to death by Sentinel in the back. What's even worse is that Colossus was actually torn into two pieces by Sentinel. Miserable, really miserable. Seeing this picture, no one can speak. Professor X couldn't help covering his mouth, shedding tears in pain. Killing intent gradually emerged in his eyes, and gritted his teeth. Or Eric is right, we can't treat humans so gently. We have to resist. We have to fight back. We have to show humanity our strength, our determination. Can anyone read this book? Can I give you 2 flowers to give Pugy a little confidence? In the end, it's not a popular live broadcast, so after taking stock of this kind of text, I thought about writing it in a different way, but no one read it. I was about to cry. Asterisk chapter 12 anger spray. Professor X. Hear the usual easygoing elegance say such a thing of Professor X. Wolverine are quite unexpected. You know, even when the future mutant almost extinct, he did not listen to Professor X said so. A young man, he really is not the same. We hear this sort of declaration of war on human speech as human beings of Iron Man, Batman, Nick Fury were all speechless. Mutant, this is much too miserable. A tragic death of a compatriot in the face of these robots. And listen before Wolverine mean mutant be killed extinct. Professor X have this reaction. It is too normal. Mutant, even if they are in the world standing human point of view, they will not see the horrors that continue to take place. Iron Man said, so these robots created by humans to deal with the mutant. Wolverine nodded his head. He did not want to talk about this. Narrator tone sounded again. This is one of mutant encountered the biggest crisis. Trask Industries found a ball of a Trask bent on the destruction of mutant, then create a Sentinel. Sentinel is Mystique gene as a reference. Can simulate any mutant ability of mutant. Almost genocide in the Sentinel attack. Only remnants of less than 10 people. This time Professor X to launch a plan to reverse the plans for the future. He will be transferred by Shadowcat Katie's super ability Wolverine's consciousness to a few decades ago. Let Wolverine prevent the Bolivarian development of Sentinel. Although he was successful, but it really is not commendable. If mutant Shadowcat is not it. If There is no such mutant can be transferred to other people's consciousness a few decades ago super ability. This one is not that mutant demise. Until the last Professor X was saying, I believe that human beings can accommodate mutant. It is ridiculous to the extreme. With such a powerful force, while considering their tribe's survival lies in the hands of others. This is suicide together with all mutant. What is the difference? In Professor X's ability, even if there appears Sentinel, he has enough to protect all mutant. His super ability cannot deal with Sentinel, but against the manufacture of machine sentry people who are extreme, or even the world can do directly threaten human life. So stop killing Sentry, rescued their own people, and he did not do anything. Just think of a way to success rates so low. Simply take all of the same family's life a joke. As a person, Professor X is indeed a good man, but as the leader of mutant, he do not deserve. So, Bay, then a sentence like knife, straight in the chest Professor X's narration. Then wind a turn. Professor X is simply a compromise has been sent, rather than the moderates. Let Professor X will not say directly modify the hearts of people around the world, so that they feel good practice for mutant. In fact with a little head a little, even if the moderates method according to Professor X, mutant there are myriad ways under the leadership of Professor X, and a better life. For example, to build a country full of mutant composed of naturally requires a quality of diplomacy. It's not difficult. Someone spent 57 UN to build a small country by himself, and he didn't care. With the power of mutants people, there is no problem in directly building an island on the high seas, and declaring the establishment of a country. In this way, with mutants' powerful force, a situation similar to the Black Pretense can be formed, and mutant is naturally safe. Which black country do you think dares to really fight? Justice is only on the edge of the sword, and truth is only within the reach of the cannon. Such a simple truth. Professor X, a scholar who is familiar with history and politics, why doesn't he understand? Forget it. There are too many slots, so I won't talk about it. In a word, Professor X can believe in the kindness and goodwill of human beings, but don't entrust the survival of his race on the goodwill of others. As long as there is this awareness, strategy or something, Professor X really doesn't need it. So, Bay really didn't like Professor X at that time. He became more and more angry when he made videos, and his skills about Professor X did just that. The video then shuts down. A mechanical voice came from the virtual screen. A new video will be uploaded in 3 days, so please look forward to it. Then all the virtual projection screens disappeared together, just as abruptly as before it appeared. The audience originally wanted to chat again, but suddenly there was no chance. Batman rubbed his temples. Originally, I wanted to talk a few more words and learn more about other worlds, but for now, he should focus his attention on Joker first. After seeing what Joker did, he would not let Joker succeed anyway. It used to be that Joker wanted to deal with himself, but he had no intention of calculating. But now I want to deal with Joker, but Joker doesn't know. This is his advantage. But how to find out Joker? When he was thinking about how to deal with Joker, his eyes suddenly froze. A man in tights and a red cape appeared in front of him. It was Superman. Batman was shocked and raised his estimate of Superman's strength by another level. Did he find me so easily? The two looked at each other and were a little embarrassed. After all, in the video, the two had fought and cooperated. Neither of them knew what their relationship would be in the future. Finally, it was Superman who spoke first. I have super hearing. If I want, I can hear any sound I want. I have heard your voice, so I found you. Batman felt his heart pounding a little more, his blood pressure soared, and finally said, okay, Superman, the name really deserves it. Superhuman. From the video, we will be enemies in the future, but we will also be comrades in arms. I don't know when we are companions and when we are comrades, but now we should all have an enemy to deal with. Superman nodded. Yes, Joker. Now, he and Louise are not boyfriend and girlfriend, but the video says that Joker will kill Louise. Even if Louise was someone he didn't know, he couldn't look at it like that. Batman said, can you find him, like you did me? Superman said, Gotham is not big. I have remembered Joker's voice in the video. As long as he speaks I can find him. Superman. If you take it seriously, it is so strong. Asterisk chapter 13 changes. Gotham Point. Several gangsters get together. Because their bank was robbed by Joker, the gangsters actually have their own banks to use for money laundering, and there are people who dare to rob the gangsters' banks. This is simply too magical. Point. So that after these big guys knew about these things, they couldn't believe it. Point. Now that even their own bank is not safe, they can only find another way to launder money. They are in contact with a foreigner and want to find him to launder money. Point. Suddenly Joker walked in, still with heavy Joker makeup on his face, smiling very funny, but quite scary. Everyone, isn't my joke funny? The gangsters were furious. They recognized Joker and threatened to take his head off. Point. Joker didn't care, took out a pencil and stood on the table and said, I'm going to make a magic trick. I'm going to make this pen disappear. Before the words were finished, the pencil had disappeared. Point. Everyone stared at Joker behind him in astonishment. Joker turned his head and saw Superman in tights and a red cape. Point. Hearing his voice, Superman finds Joker. Joker was knocked unconscious by Superman just as he was about to speak and left. Point. When Joker came back to his senses, he was already on an island. Point. The island doesn't have huge amounts of trees, just a few bushes from which you can pick a few fruits and fish in the sea for a living. Point. But even cutting down trees to make rafts is impossible. Joker was furious and roared angrily, where is the coward? Do you dare to show up? If you catch me, get out. Superman. And standing in the air, Batman flying the Bat Fighter, hovering beside him. The two watched Joker incompetently furious. Superman said, is this really good? I definitely don't mean to let him go. I just think this method. After all, we are not judges. Can we judge him? Batman shook his head and said, no, I didn't try him either. I just made a deal with the police to build a private prison here, and he'll stay in this prison until the judge arraigns him. It's still possible to do this. Superman was stunned. You built this prison in the Bermuda Triangle. They agreed. I'm rich, and I can do a lot of things with money. Batman sighed without versals. You might think I'm stealing, but I think the raiders are right. A man like Joker, the law can't deal with him, then the law has a problem. So, I found someone to lobby the congressman to pass a bill against people like Joker. If there is no accident, it will be passed in a few days, and then he will get his punishment legally. Superman said, this is not interference with justice. Batman said indifferently, in this beautiful country, the judiciary has been interfered many times. What do you think? Are so many new bills passed to deal with such criminals? I will not introduce some unconventional means. After seeing the strategy, I have been thinking about a question. I found that I have been fighting crime these days, but I have been doing it for so long, and the law and order in Gotham has not improved. So we still have to start from the law, from the root. After all, if there is a Joker in this world, there may be a second ugly. Superman also thought it made sense, looked at Joker and said, he shouldn't be able to escape. Batman said, if he can escape like this, next time I really want to send it to Mars. By the way, what do you know about that huge amounts of monsters? No, maybe next time we see the video, we can find more clues. Superman said. Batman didn't say much. He made up his mind to find the green stone in the video. Superman has something to do with that monster, and this green stone seems to be able to restrain them. Superman is too strong, and his power is a threat to humanity. Just like an elephant, even if it is not malicious, it may trample many ants to death. Humans are ants to Superman, so Batman feels that he has to counteract Superman. That green stone is probably the breaking point. Although from the point of contact with these hours, Superman is like a good person, but he is prepared. Marvel Universe, New York. What? Do you suspect that Hydra is lurking in SHIELD? Iron Man stopped eating blueberries in surprise when Nick Fury said this. Nick Fury sighed. I've already told you about SHIELD. Your father was part of the founding of SHIELD, but only SHIELD can perfectly cover up the existence of Hydra. I have great reasons to believe that Hydra is lurking in SHIELD. Now the only thing I can believe is you and Captain America. I hope Avengers can be formed. Iron Man thought about it and said, I can deal with Hydra, and if Hydra is an SHIELD, I can definitely find them, but I want something. Nick Fury said warily, what do you want? Iron Man said, the video says I'm going to get palladium poisoning from the arc reactor, which makes sense, so the information my father left you about the arc reactor, I want, and I want the information about the Shianma project. Nick Fury was furious. Pegasus plan. Are you really going to create a steel army? No, I can't watch a private person hold such a powerful force. Iron Man said lightly, no, I want to set up a security company, licensed, reasonable, legal, and compliant. Iron Man actually wants to form an iron army through the name of a security company. There are many excellent security companies in the beautiful country, and their firepower is no worse than that of soldiers. If he is willing to spend money, he will definitely be able to do it. This can indeed form a steel army above board. Damn. Rich man, you shouldn't listen to nonsense. Nick Fury definitely didn't want Iron Man to have too much power in his hands. I'll stop you. Iron Man looked at Nick Fury's one-eyed. So, what do we do with aliens and Loki, and what cosmic overlords are there? Still luck? Or, with that weird teammate, what? If my luck is not so good because of the butterfly effect and the black bullet doesn't hit the key point of the alien flagship, Nick Fury said firmly, no, I will never agree to this. I will definitely stop you. If the Earth really encounters an irresistible crisis, I will find a way. He also has a card in his hand. If the Earth is really in an irresistible crisis, he will find Captain Marvel. To be honest, he didn't want to call Captain Marvel back, and in his opinion Captain Marvel's departure from Earth was a good thing. If Captain Marvel stayed on Earth, someone with such power would give him a headache. Tony Stark didn't hold on, but no one could shake what he was determined to do. As for Hydra, he will find a way to inquire. If Hydra is lurking in SHIELD, their cobweb trail can definitely be found on the SHIELD intranet. For Tony Stark, diving into SHIELD''s intranet is not much different from going home. Chapter 14 Raiders video of being a villain. The electronic technology inside SHIELD is not weak. After all, they are funded by governments all over the world. However, Iron Man's wisdom is beyond discussion. Think about knocking out a cold nuclear fusion device in a cave and creating nano armor with one person in a few years. This is so perverted. At the age of 8, he could use the White House and the Pentagon network as his own backyard. Under his in-depth investigation, he found a lot of very strange places. Not only found a lot of clues about Hydra, but also found many secrets of SHIELD, Shianma Project, Insight Project, Tahiti Project, Tesseract Project. Sure enough, an organization like SHIELD that is linked to the government of a beautiful country, just like the FBI and CIA, has really dirty buttocks, and there is absolutely nothing good about it. He has always hated this kind of organization, which made him give up the idea of working with SHIELD. SHIELD is unreliable. People have to rely on themselves. X-Men universe. Also New York. Professor X did not take the medicine again because of his injury. He has been taking medicine, and only with medicine can he stand up, but the medicine will suppress his super ability. When he stopped taking the medicine, his super ability came back. Then he entered the room of the brainwave machine in a wheelchair. This brainwave amplifier is a masterpiece of Beast. Beast's wit is not much worse than Iron Man. This time he didn't have the ability to use the brainwave machine like in the movie. Because he has seen mutants' tragic future, he wants to stop it, and he has this firm belief that his power is unbreakable. After putting on the brainwave machine, he thought about it and entered Wolverine's consciousness. He then approached the future Professor X through Wolverine's consciousness. The two looked at each other from a long distance. At that moment, both of them understood what they were thinking. The old Professor X said, "No, Charles, you have to trust humans. Don't use such extreme methods. Humans just need time." Young Professor X said, "Even the price of this belief is to use the lives of all mutants as a bargaining chip." The old Professor X was speechless for a moment. Young Professor X continued, "Sure enough, this plan was an accident. If there is no Shadowcat's ability, without this plan, mutant will be extinct. You are wrong. You have been wrong for decades. But I can fix this mistake. After speaking, he disconnected from the elderly Professor X and began to search for the existence of Bolivar Trisk Point. Then he got angry. It turned out that at this time, Trisk had already started research on the mutant gene, and he was dissecting a mutant point for Trisk to build a probe that can search for the mutant X gene. He must have done research with mutant. Note, Trisk is the little guy in tech, not Colonel Stricker who implanted adamantium on Wolverine. Seeing those compatriots who were dissected and cut into pieces, Professor X's anger was hard to contain. Fight back. I must fight back. Mutant must fight back. Trisk suddenly heard a voice in his head. Why? You have to do this. Trisk was taken aback for a moment, and then he realized in an instant that it was mutant who had found him. He was not afraid, just said, because you are a threat. Even if you don't want to do anything, if your number exceeds a certain number, it will definitely cause a devastating blow to mankind. Professor X said coldly, so, in your opinion, this is a race war of your life and death. Even if mutant has no intention of starting a war, Trisk said, this is a historical necessity. Professor X said, since you say it is war, then you are the enemy. Trisk's face was stunned, and suddenly the scalpel in his hand stabbed his throat. While the other staff didn't seem to see it, they started cleaning Trisk's corpse, destroying all the corpses, data, and materials. Then the memories in their brains were replaced. They forgot that they had experimented with mutant here, and even forgot that mutant even existed. Just remember that I was doing a secret experiment, and now this experiment has been terminated. Everything is as if it never happened. The young Professor X was much more radical than the old one. Originally, when he saw the picture of reversing the future, he thought of fighting back, but under the dissuasion of the elderly Professor X, he still chose to believe in humans. But now, he has made another choice. On the second day, after Subei woke up, he immediately watched his new video. But I found that the website upgrade is displayed and cannot be opened. Subei's brain banged. I didn't meet a liar, did I? It's too much to come up with a website to cheat and attack my small up with hundreds of fans. At this time he received a text message. Your video is very popular. Welcome to continue to create. In order to encourage creation, we will reward Grandma with 10,000 cash. After the website is upgraded, there will be new functions. If the video is still popular, there will be mysterious gifts. I uploaded 3 videos. Can I have 10,000 yuan? Is it so naughty? Then the phone dinged again, and Subei saw that there was a transfer of 10,000 yuan in his account. At that moment, Subei was so happy that he almost burst into tears. I actually made 10,000 yuan by cutting videos ? 10,000 yuan for 3 videos. His uncle, I want fire. Anyway, no matter what this website is like, I don't expect mysterious gifts, but the money is real. Just do it. So he immediately began to work hard. Never sleep. Cut the video. Just wait for the website to update and upload the history. To be honest, the last 3 videos he did were relatively watery. This time he decided to be more serious, and doing decent power videos just doesn't feel good, because decent always wins anyway. So in this issue he decided to make a few more villain videos. 1 Loki, 1 Luthor, 1 Magneto. All 3 are his favorite villains. 3 days later, the website was updated, and he directly dumped the 6 videos he had made. Good morning. Please 2 flowers, asterisk. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15 New Audiences. At the designated time, Batman, Superman, Iron Man, Nick Fury, Professor X and Beast as well as Wolverine goes to a quiet place. Wolverine future consciousness has returned, and he does not remember what happened the past few days. For Professor X to his words, he does not believe a word, but driven by curiosity, he is still here, looking forward to seeing the amazing video appears, and the next moment, that really like about the virtual screen appeared. The same time, Asgard. Thor once again triumphant return. Odin looked at this scene some happy, that reckless kid finally grown to the point where special skills, it is time to pass him his position. Asgard people, Takanori plenty expedition 9 circles, never into a disadvantage. After the victory carnival is their essential part. This time both men and women, all gathered in the court. Pieces of meat, big mouth and drink. Odin stood up. They want to say 2 words of praise Thor, but I do not want unexpected between a giant projection screen appear in front of Odin. Entire banquet suddenly quiet down, then shoved it exploded. Odin. Adults used to announce the news. Why should put forward a virtual screen cast out the technology behind our do not know. Odin definitely its own meaning. Do not look. Asgard people dress and weapons are like medieval people, but Asgard god who not only have, but also far more than the earth's science and technology. Thor subordinates, harvest goddess legendary Sif, go to the earth in the hunt for a traitor, when the computer on earth is extremely despicable. They say that it was 6,000 years ago have been eliminated technology. While Odin was at that moment. The body stiff hairs stood on end. Gods Odin even in this universe, but also come to call the name of the strong. But even he did not know how this is the emergence of the virtual screen. But do not know how to manage him. Even if it is not able to see the virtual screen, he would think that this thing does not exist. Impossible. What this world who can do that? Why should I do? But this time not cause panic. Is calm, said. Everyone withdrew, leaving only Thor and Loki. Asgard people looked at each other, but for the will of God, the King Odin, they did not dare to disobey. When these people Asgard receded, there has emerged a few virtual screen. Superman images in which these people appear. DC Universe, Metropolitan. Lex Group, Lex Luthor's office. He was looking at the information they gathered. The first one is the Batman video from heaven. The police will be thrown into the picture. The second is a frequency depending on Wonder Woman in a wartime photos and videos. Wonder Woman Diana is now working at the museum. The first 3 are in the sea. Aquaman off the handheld fork swimming in the sea video. The first 4 Cyborg is only half of the body. The body's machinery to grow a half video in the violent energy stimulation. The first 5 are the Flash Alan Paris, easily knocked down a criminal video in a small supermarket. The 6th is a fantasy figure silhouette. Even if the video is decomposed into a 1, we cannot clearly see. He muttered. Batman, Bruce Wayne, Alan Berry, Diana, Arthur, Victor, as well as an unknown mystery man. You still people, what can you bring to mankind? Fighting crime, upholding justice. Who do you think you are? As the smartest human being in the DC universe, Luthor has a level 9 intelligence. After he accidentally collected some information about Wonder Woman, he believed that there are supernatural powers in this world. After that, he has been tracking these human beings with magical energy, and these are what he found. He disdains the behavior of these people. But at this moment, he suddenly found a virtual screen suddenly appeared in front of him. Then several virtual screens appeared at the same time, with some people on them, including Batman. He frowned. Could it be that he was found by Batman first? Should not be. In the X-Men world, in a cell hundreds of deep underground in a White House. It was a completely metal-free prison. Magneto Eric Lensher, sentenced to life in prison for the assassination of the president, is imprisoned here. Prison is a magical place. Some people are in pain, and some people are like a duck to water. There are also people who have realized the truth of life here. And Magneto belongs to the last category. But at this moment, he suddenly found a virtual screen in front of him. Magneto couldn't help but stunned. He had never seen such a high-tech thing before. After all, the era he lived in had just ended in the Vietnam War. He frowned slightly. Could it be the ability of a certain mutant? A mutant break through the blockade, and want to connect with yourself. Then, next to the huge amounts of virtual screen, several slightly smaller virtual screens appeared. There were quite a few people there, among whom he only knew Professor X and Beast. He was a little surprised, but not flustered, just said lightly, "Charles, what are you looking for from me?" I looking for you?" Professor X's teeth were itching with anger. Even now he doesn't think what Magneto did before was completely wrong, but Magneto betrayed him and took away so many companions and Capricorns, and he was very angry. Remember not wanting to talk to Magneto at all. Batman said, "Looks like you know each other." "Hey, I remember. You're the Magneto that controls the entire Earth's magnetic field, and this fool in green clothes, isn't this the evil god Loki?" Loki roared, "How dare mortals dare to overstep? Kneel down to me." Odin coughed lightly. Even if it was him, he still didn't understand what this virtual screen was. How did it appear? He was very dignified and asked, "Can someone tell me what's going on?" Nick Fury tells it all. Someone edited the experiences of people in different parallel universes and different time and space, and made a guide for them. The newcomers are very surprised, and some people don't believe it, but the layman is watching the fun, and the expert is watching the doorway. Odin is an insider. Someone can interfere with parallel universes and time at the same time. What kind of power is this? Even him absolutely cannot interfere with the parallel universe. Who exactly did this? The 5 legendary gods of creation. There are so few flowers. It's so painful. Does anyone see this? Please ask for a few flowers. Chapter 16 Large-scale mythical ethics court family drama. The 5 creation gods are just a legend, and even Odin is not sure if they really exist. But hearing about Loki from these people still made him angry. Will Loki invade Earth later? Thor is standing with humans against Loki. What is all this cult? Why would the two of them kill each other as brothers? And am I actually not responding? Impossible. I would never have seen this happen. If it does happen, it means I was dead at that time. I will die too. Ragnarok coming. Countless thoughts flooded Odin's mind, making him feel a little confused. Thor is also weird. He can't imagine the day he will fight Loki. And he was standing with that strange mustache, and the look of that mustache was very unpleasant. Batman glanced at Luthor. The Lester group was also a huge amount of Cheeble. He knew, but had never dealt with Luthor in his cognition. The people who will appear here are definitely related to the video. Luthor also related to these videos. Does he have another identity like himself? And that one-eyed white-haired man is actually Odin. God really exists. The appearance of new audiences alone makes everyone think a lot more. If we really want to talk openly, we will talk all day and night, and we will not be able to finish talking. Let's watch the video first. Batman said. Everyone suppressed their doubts and nodded in agreement. There are 6 newly uploaded guides. Super Dimension Strategy, Superman 1-inch, Super Dimension Strategy, Iron Man 2, Super Dimension Strategy, Batman 2, Super Dimension Strategy, Loki, Super Dimension Strategy, Luthor, Super Dimension Power, Magneto. There is also a reminder on the virtual screen. After watching all the new videos, there will be an hour left. Newcomers can watch the previous videos, and everyone can discuss and communicate here. Odin said, "How about we look at Loki first?" The current Odin is not at all the tough, irritable, easygoing anyway. Look first and see later, and everyone has no objection. Odin clicks on Super Dimension Raiders. Loki. The screen pops up, showing Loki's appearance. Dressed in green clothes. He looked a little wicked. Name: Loki. Nickname: Evil God, God of Mischief, number 1 magician in the 9 realms, 3rd princess of Asgard. Just the first few titles, but seeing that he actually had a nickname of the 3 princesses of Alaska, Loki's face turned green. A man who is dignified and upright is actually called a princess. This is humiliation. No matter who made this video, I Loki and you are not finished. How dare you humiliate my evil god Loki like this? I will show you my anger. Introduction. The biological son of the giants of Jotunheim, Laofi, the adopted son of the god King Odin, the good brother of Thor. The first sentence of the introduction alone makes Loki hit by lightning and pump up his blood. Pressure point. The video shows the Asgard and the giants of Jotunheim engaged in a protracted war on Earth. Wang Laofei of the giants of Jotunheim used the Heart of Ice, the magic weapon of the giants of Jotunheim clan, to freeze the entire Earth almost instantly. This kind of shock is not inferior to the last time the audience saw the entire planet being destroyed by the God group. There is a gap in the power between the two, but they are equally thrilling. Loki's face turned pale, and he couldn't help but take a few steps back and look at Odin. Father, is this true? Odin didn't speak and nodded lightly after a long while. Loki's 3 senses were almost shattered. He stared blankly at the video. Defeated Odin, who returned to Asgard from the giants of Jotunheim and met an abandoned giants of Jotunheim baby. He brought the baby back to Asgard and named it Loki. Finally, Loki couldn't hold it any longer and yelled, "Father, since I'm a descendant of the giants of Jotunheim, why didn't you tell me?" "No wonder you've always been optimistic about Thor. No matter how well I do, you don't even see it in your eyes." But the video hits Loki in the face. Odin adopted Loki, cared for him with all his heart, and nurtured him. In Odin's view, this is an opportunity to completely resolve the Asgard's hatred of the giants of Jotunheim. If one day Thor becomes king of Asgard and Loki becomes king of ice giants, and the two are brothers, then Asgard and the giants of Jotunheim will never be at war again. Loki's face brightened a little. At least he knew what Odin meant for adopting him. But the heart is still very uncomfortable. Just because I'm the giants of Jotunheim, can't I be the king of Asgard? I will definitely be more suitable to be a king than Thor, the Iron Man. Father, I will prove it to you. At this time, Thor recklessly put his arm around Loki's shoulder and said, "Whether you are an Asgard or the giants of Jotunheim, you are my Thor's brother." The sentence almost completely knocked Loki down, and he felt Thor was taunting him. Video continues. Odin announced at Asgard's palace that Thor would be the new king of Asgard. At this time, several giants of Jotunheim broke into Odin's palace, intending to steal the Heart of Ice, the magic weapon of giants of Jotunheim. But they were armored by Odin's destroyer, the narrator said. But Loki doesn't understand Odin's good intentions. In his opinion, Odin's preference for Thor is a red fruit, so he put in a few giants of Jotunheim when Odin announced Thor's succession and let them disrupt Thor's enthronement ceremony. Then secretly pushed Thor and let Thor lead his men to fight the giants of Jotunheim. In the video, Thor wields his Mjolnir, smashing a number of frost behemoths. But in the next moment, the giants of Jotunheim stood in front of Thor. Thor is strong, but may not win against the king of giants of Jotunheim. At this moment, Odin rode on a Pegasus, and the rays of light descended, stopping Laofey. Previously, Odin thought that Thor had grown up, but now it seems that Thor is still a reckless, ignorant, light-hearted boy. Thor is not ready. He can't be a king yet. He stripped Thor of his powers and banished Thor to Earth. At this moment, Odin only felt a pain in his heart. Thor was stupid and immature, and Loki was scheming, but he acted unscrupulously. It seems that it is true that the two are fighting each other. I really don't want to see this scene. On the other hand, Thor was very carefree. "I see, you are jealous of me, and you want to be the king of Asgard, or the king of Asgard will let you be. Shut up for me." Thor's words made Loki even more angry. He felt that Thor was pity for him, pity for himself. Loki doesn't need sympathy and pity from others. The audience on one side was silent in tacit understanding. It seems that being a father is really difficult, even if you are the king of gods. Begging for flowers, begging for flowers. I'm about to cry. Chapter 17, Loki's sad life. The video is still going on. After banishing Thor, Odin fell into Odin's sleep, and Loki gave a false decree, telling Thor that Odin had banished him forever. He even sent the destroyer to kill Thor. I don't want Thor's divine power to recover at this time. The screen turned again, and the border town had already appeared. Thor is being hunted by huge amounts of robots in town. Thor stood in front of everyone and said, "All you want is me. Don't hurt anyone else." The Merciless punch of the destroyer armor knocked out Thor, who was no different from a mortal. Thor opened his mouth wide, unable to believe his eyes. He already knew that Loki wasn't happy with him. But he doesn't care. He just thinks that this is a dementia behavior that Loki can't accept after knowing his own background. That's why he, who looked at the rough things, used his way to comfort Loki all the time before. But didn't want Loki to actually kill himself. Now, he is really disappointed and painful. You are my brother, just to be the king of Asgard. Are you going to kill me? Loki, does it worth? We are brothers for thousands of years. And Loki kept his mouth shut and didn't say a word. There was no pleasure in his eyes, but there was a hint of pain in his eyes. The narration continued. Thor recovered his divine power at the most critical moment and was recognized by Thor's hammer Mjolnir. He destroyed the destroyer and brought Asgard back. The screen changed again. Thor's armor appeared out of thin air, wrapped Thor, and Mjolnir, who was somewhere, flew from afar and fell into his hands. He swung his hammer to create huge amounts of tornadoes in which he flew into the sky. Then huge amounts of lightning fell, shattering the seemingly unmatched destroyer armor with just one blow. This is the first time everyone really saw Thor's power. Thor had always acted like a fool before, which made everyone underestimate him. But who knew that this Han actually possessed such terrifying power? As expected of the legendary Thor, Nick Fury's expression grew more painful. Iron Man, not to mention the Hulk, at least they are still human. But this Thor, an alien like God, looks like he's still a member of the Avengers. A person with such powerful destructive power walks on the earth like a moving human-shaped black egg, which cannot be ignored. But how to manage this? Nick Fury, the SHIELD director, has a huge headache. He wants Avengers to be as strong as possible to withstand any crisis, but he didn't want the Avengers to be too powerful, because Avengers was originally a crisis. Humans are too fragile compared to them. Humans must have the strength to stand against them, or that plan should be carried out. Develop the power of the Tesseract and craft weapons. Let SHIELD also have the power to fight these monsters, but Tesseract too uncontrollable and need a top scientist monitoring the plan. Iron Man would have been a better choice, but Iron Man's power is strong enough. He did not want Iron Man to become stronger. Really headache. A screen again. Turn a side channel. Loki. At this time, the Giants of Jotunheim directly open and Asgard channel will lead to the Giants of Jotunheim. Asgard. He reached an agreement with non-labor, so labor non-kill Odin. Upon hearing this, Thor's face was difficult to read. Loki fists tightly clenched. He and some do not believe. In any case, he would not want to kill Odin. I would never do such a thing. Odin's surface it touches a look of calm, but the heart is very painful. While Loki is Giants of Jotunheim, but he can put Loki as his own son to raise it, and now this son to kill himself. The pain is most people cannot understand. But then the picture of a turn. Loki actually killed non-labor, then hit into a group with Thor narrator. But the real purpose is to lure Loki's non-labor came to Asgard, kill non-labor, then he wanted to use to destroy the Bifrost Giants of Jotunheim world. Thor did not agree. The two wars together. This is what Thor be a little sigh of relief. At least Odin. Loki did not kill the idea. Odin first, a little happy, then Zinzada anger, destroy a world. The sun also hardened in their own imagination, while others see Loki's eyes have wanted to kill. The people actually want to destroy a crazy world, especially Iron Man and Nick Fury. Loki knew they would bring people to attack New York's criminal records. Is he actually there to destroy the world? No. We must find an opportunity to kill him. Then the picture sub. Loki fell off the Bifrost. Thor caught him. Odin and Loki looked excited. Said, I'm the father. See it your best son. I killed Luo. I ruined Giants of Jotunheim off the entire world. Odin closed his eyes. Almost do not want to look anymore. Thor regained his god. It shows that he passed his test. He has become a qualified leader. But why Loki become like this? Narrator continued. After the fall Bifrost, Loki did not die. He was Thanos men saved. Under the hands of Egg Thanos, he brought people to attack the Earth, intent to win the Tesseract. But the Avengers meal fat beat, failed. Invasion of Earth. Loki was recaptured Asgard, imprisoned. But at this time, Dark Elf awake from a deep sleep. They invaded Asgard. Loki escape to heaven, cheat open the Dark Elves, but do not want this move, indirectly killed his mother Fujiali. Loki did not know their actions will lead to such consequences. He eventually defeated the Dark Elves and Thor together, but Odin also disappeared. Loki posing as Odin, Asgard hang out in Sri Lanka. Thor, Odin's time to find, returned to Asgard, recognized Loki. Odin considered to harm Loki, but Loki said he did not. Odin disappeared. In the end they found Odin on Earth. This time, Odin real death. Odin's death by his seal eldest daughter death god Hela ban breakout, faced with Hela two brothers, suffered a crushing defeat. Loki and Thor fled Senior High, where the final counterattack Asgard released Flame Giant Megasir. The last Flame Giant Asgard is destroyed. Ragnarok comes. Death god Hela perishable with Asgard. Thor and Loki of Asgard with people escaped from the Asgard, but encountered Thanos. Ultimately, in order to save Thor, he died in the hands of Thanos. This is Cthulhu Loki's life. He is like a bad exhausted all means want to get his father's approval unruly child, but he has far more than the average child's strength. His unruly will hurt so many people. With the narration, scenes Loki's name has also been cut in which Sube, Seeking Flowers, * chapter 18 The death of Loki. Loki invaded New York, but was mentioned by the Hulk, and the famous scene of repeatedly smashing it like a sack appeared again, which made many people laugh. Even Nick Fury and Iron Man, who hated him because of Loki's invasion, were happy to see this scene. Magneto laughed outright. This is God. Sure enough, a weak God. He doesn't like Loki's strength. He doesn't like the entire Chitauri fleet. As long as those things were made of metal, no amount of Chitauri fleet would be anything to him. Loki himself blushed with anger. Mortal, how dare you look down on me? How dare you be rude to my god? And this green monster, I want him to know the price of disobeying the god. Magneto rolled his eyes at him, incompetent and furious. If you have the ability, you can come to me through a parallel universe and see if I don't kill you. Even Thor and Odin, who are in mourning, see this look weird. Thor even sighed. Loki, you should really exercise your body. Loki glared at him fiercely. I'm a magician, okay? Am I going to fight with my fists? Like you are a fool. I'm a magician, the first magician in the 9 realms, Thor said, but don't you usually stab people with a knife? Loki is so furious that he doesn't even want to talk to Thor. Iron Man looked at Odin and said, Lord Odin, you have seen what your child has done, and I hope you can take care of your own child. Odin's one eye narrowed slightly. Are you teaching me to do things? What kind of character is Iron Man? Fight the air. Don't say that Odin is not here. Even if Odin is in front of him, he dares to go up directly. Hearing this, he just said, your own son is not good at teaching. Why don't I take care of it for you? Odin was silent for a moment and said, I won't let this happen. But human, are you being too unreasonable? Iron Man snorted coldly. We didn't bring an alien fleet to attack your Asgard. No. One thought that Luthor also spoke at this time. What about gods? Are gods nobler than humans? Humans are never inferior, no matter what kind of enemy they face, or gods. Luthor's words made all the humans here feel refreshed. Batman actually likes Luthor very well. Odin was furious. If he was young, he probably wouldn't have come directly to Earth to inflict divine punishment, but now that he's older, he's calmed down a lot. This matter is also ignored by Asgard. He snorted coldly and stopped talking. The scene then moves to the Dark Elves invading Asgard, and everyone sees that Frigga is killed by the Dark Elves because Loki lied to the dark spirits. At this moment, Thor was out of anger. He picked up Loki and gritted his teeth. Loki, you actually killed your mother. The corners of Loki's mouth twitched, usually tongue-tied, and he couldn't say a word either. Just like he never really thought about killing Odin. He never thought about killing his adoptive mother Frigga, but Frigga was indeed killed by him. Odin was still calm, but his fists were clenched tightly, and the Dark Elf appeared again, which meant that tape particles also appeared. This is another catastrophe in the 9 realms. As for Loki, this kid is dead. Shut it down. Iron Man and Nick Fury were even more nervous. This world is too dangerous, and the power of human beings is too weak. The two were firmer about their plans. Iron Man felt that the Iron Legion had to be formed, and Nick Fury felt that the Tesseract weaponization program had to start. The screen changed again. Loki used the illusion to become Thor and killed Maleski, the king of dark elves at this moment. Thor and Odin, who had previously hated Loki for Fugala's death, re-accepted Loki again. Loki is stubborn, but he still sees himself as an Asgard. That was just an accident. Loki, not that bad. Then, there is the famous scene where Hela directly crushes Thor's hammer. Thor couldn't believe his eyes and growled, "Impossible. How can someone crush Mjolnir with their bare hands? Father, is this fake?" Odin sighed. "It's true. She's your sister, and Mjolnir was her weapon." Thor only felt that his three views were broken. "Am I not Thor? Why is Mjolnir her weapon?" Odin is speechless. "When will this silly son of mine realize his true power?" He said. "You are Thor, not the hammer god. Mjolnir is just a medium to draw out your power." Thor said again, "Why did my sister fight with us?" So, they just cut some famous scenes to introduce Loki, supplemented by narration, and did not explain the reasons and consequences clearly. Odin sighed. "This is a long story. I'll tell you slowly when I have time." Then, there is the entire Asgard destroyed in the flame giant and Hela war. Everyone sighed inwardly. In any case, this is a civilization that has been passed down for thousands of years, and it was destroyed in the fire of war like this. It really has to make people sigh. Then the picture becomes the inside of the spaceship. Blind in one eye, Thor knelt on the ground, bound with steel by ebony. The ground is full of Asgard corpses. The Odin trio even saw the body of the gatekeeper Heimdall. The three were furious at the same time. Who dared to slaughter the Asgard people? The battle between Hela and Thor brothers. It was just a civil war, but these outsiders dare to kill me. Asgard, who dares to be so brave? The Tesseract appeared in Loki's hands, and Ebony Maw took the Tesseract and gave it to Thanos on his knees. Nick Fury's one eye contracted sharply. Tesseract in Loki's hands. Did Loki invade Earth just for the Tesseract? And the next scene was even more frightening. To his heart arrest on the spot. With a light grip, Thanos shattered the Tesseract's shell, revealing a blue gem that was attached to his glove. Nick Fury was sweating profusely. In fact, he's been working on Tesseract for a while now, and, with Hydra's previous work on Tesseract, he knows how amazing and tough Tesseract is. Who would have thought that this purple potato-like alien could crush it so easily? Pinch with your hands. Is this something carbon-based organisms can do? How could a creature have such a powerful force? Who is this big purple potato? It seems that this blue gem is the core of Tesseract. This big purple potato can use the power of Tesseract with something like a glove. How can this be? We have used so many high-tech equipment, and we can only use a little power of Tesseract. This big purple potato can actually use a fist to exert the power of Tesseract. Is this too unscientific? Thanos said. There are 2 more gems on Earth. Find them, my children, and bring them back to Titan. At this point Loki stood up and said, "If you want to go to Earth, I think you need a guide." Iron Man yelled angrily, "Loki, you be *************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈̈Thor felt like he was riding a roller coaster. Did Loki betray himself again? My brother, why are you doing this? But he didn't think that this time Loki just used this excuse to get close to Thanos and pulled out a knife and stabbed at Thanos. Thanos picked him up by the neck, then crushed Loki's neck. Thanos, you are courting death. Odin finally couldn't hold back his roar. Hearing the name, Nick Fury and Iron Man's heart skipped a beat. It turns out that this big purple potato is Thanos, the overlord of the universe. Will he be the enemy of the Avengers? Good morning. Flowers please. Chapter 19 Say you do not believe Loki loved Asgard. Everyone on the death of Loki are very unexpected. To be honest, after reading the introduction of Loki, no one has a crush on Loki. Odin and Thor are even angry at him cruelly. But no one thought about this at any time. Cross jump. The man who stabbed a knife. Since Thor catched to save his life at the last minute. Thor actually a little watery eyes. Loki, I know. For thousands of years, we eat together, fight together, get into trouble together. You are my brothers. That will never change. I will not let you die. Thor. Zuantao Wang Xiang. Odin said. Let me point Kisage's father was military forces. To the conquest Thanos. I want to cut his dog's head. Odin. Angrily. Shut up. He also does not mind calm. Thanos actually going to kill his son in the future. He definitely wanted to cut off the dog's head Thanos. But Thanos' prowess in the universe Ruligwana, not so good to kill point and their Asgard Hela threat point previous video screen albeit short, but Hela demonstrated the power of Odin did not tear even contempt point Odin old, although the older Asgard people, the stronger the divine, but the body is old. Odin is already bloated point otherwise they will not rush to pass to Thor. The Hela power is much progress, but the power in Asgard Hela was limitless. If two people fighting in Asgard, Odin did not win the confidence of Hela point out this case, might go conquest Thanos, Iron Man to see the two of them brothers affectionate look, feel very sick point. No matter how affectionate brother, Loki is also the invasion of Earth murderer, he asked. Odin sir, I do not know about this Thanos, what kind of person he is. Odin looked Iron Man 1, said, is displayed in the video next Loki will invade the earth, so you hostile to him, this is normal, but, now that I know what the future will this development, I will not let such a thing happen, as, Thanos, I do not know much, this, crazy titans crack a lot of men. Killing spree in the universe. I do not know how many planets have been his stamp to. Odin. Actually unprecedented for Iron Man to make an explanation. Even a promise. Promised not to let Loki invaded the earth. Thor and Loki stunned. And Zang to the mouth point gods Odin unified 9 circles. Yanshu Fasu. When it will need to explain to mankind what is promised. Batman then asked. Thanos said previously that. Let his hand down. To find 2 stones on earth. And this is the generous pieces of the same jewel. Luthor. DC is the world's most intelligent man, and Batman is not weaker than the wisdom of Luthor, and he is the world's greatest detective. He inferred that little bit of clues inside the purpose of Thanos. Odin said, that is the space gem on behalf of space. It was at the beginning of the Big Bang gave birth to 6 salivary stones they are called infinite gems. Have the power to imagine. A lot of people are pursuing them. Infinite gems. Power is difficult to imagine. What kind of power? They are curious, but Odin did not continue to say. Batman has said, I saw 6 grooves on Thanos' fist. Is he prepared to gather together 6 infinite gems? Do. Odin frowned. The power of infinite gems power pole. Even if it is to fully play out a gem, such as immune impossible, let alone 6. Thanos. Odin do not think there can be messenger 6 infinite gems of ability, but this crazy titans. He was not sure. Iron Man looked to understand. Batman this is helping themselves to ask it. Speak of wisdom. He does not feel weaker than anyone, but in terms of this observation and reasoning, than the big Batman detective quite the thing. He was a little grateful for the help of Batman. Gently nodded. Then narration sounded again. Loki throughout his life, he has 9 circles of the first magician said raw, but the favorite is behind the poke. Loki is not very clear on their own perception and positioning. He is good at magic. His magic is very powerful, but never thought continue down this road. The illusion of power to the limit. If a phantom can fake and the real thing, then it is magic. It screen gave Loki figure just wearing very strange. He stood on the lawn, hands in the air, followed by huge amounts of cities where they stand. Do not see a little false appearance. Loki a blank mind. This is what I do. I have the illusion so powerful it. Thor looked blankly that city. That is Asgard. You actually using magic evolution of the entire Asgard. Professor X said. Although I do not understand magic, but in my opinion, Loki can complete the illusion of evolution Asgard. He is bound to Asgard. Are well aware of every inch of land on the other side of Luthor, he said. Although this conclusion sounds ridiculous, but I think Loki is definitely remember every inch of land of Asgard may represent his love of this land. Superman frowned. Loki love Asgard. He does not believe. However, this person called Luthor said may be right. If not actually in love with heart Loki Asgard, how he will be desperate at the last minute to kill Thanos. It. Narrator continued. Instead of every day wondering how to use a knife stabbed people, Loki is good at his magic to the limit. And if his magic can really exactly the same, and that there is no difference between the creation of thin air. And at that time he was eligible to called first 9 circles magician. Even without such a powerful illusion, Loki at the time of the invasion of Earth, but also can easily achieve his purpose. He can use his magic to become president of the big beautiful country in the name of the president's big beautiful country disbanded SHIELD. Arrest Iron Man, the United States captain these people, then use the whole big beautiful national research tesseract, open space channel, quoted Kitaru into the earth, led directly to a large beautiful fruit surrender the planet's most powerful country, occupied without firing a shot, as Hela and Thanos, both Loki is to face the most formidable opponent, but if he can stir up Thanos and Hela war, as long as within Asgard, no infinite gems of Thanos may not be able to beat Hela, this time, Loki will be the beneficiary, get rid of his two enemies. This is the trick of God to do something, and people can exchange blows with quite a lot of Thanos, Hela, Odin, Ancient One Magician, Captain Marvel, Scarlet Witch are considered one, as long as Loki can play a trick God their strength, provoke conflict between these people and Thanos, as long as Thanos cannot collect enough infinite gems, still have a chance to beat him, so deal with Thanos to prevent him from collecting together infinite gems is the most critical. This is the end of this article raiders, hope you like them. Here, the video ends then pop up a pop video. This site has been upgrade is completed, opened a new function. After watching the raiders have a choice, if you can answer, you will be rewarded. If you got it wrong, there will be some punishment. The question is, Loki died in the hands of Thanos, and this time he was really dead or suspended animation, seeking 2 flowers, bees. Also, I wrote the movie universe, scene from the movie. Hela does have singled out the strength of Odin, asterisk chapter 20 Kryptonite and Phoenix Force. Sube blind for a few raiders do. These part is still very valued point, because Sube though talking nonsense, but they do not know the parties, combined with their own situation, and saw that actually really have room for maneuver so, while Batman will be lobbying for the bill Joker develop severe mental illness such crime, while exiled Joker Iron Man will set up his own security company, set up their own Steel Legion point Professor X directly embarked on another path against humanity. The Subasen are on the Loki, Iron Man and Nick Fury scene staring down hardpoint, because if Loki really by Subase said the operation, even if they know there is no way to respond point Loki, unless they are able to distinguish illusion point as for dealing with Thanos. Information about Thanos is also too little. They had not concluded point and Loki himself was very dissatisfied with the Raiders Loki, because he is an adult to face, but also very narcissistic person point. He did not feel that they need to make you want to do in someone's pointing point. He just wanted to put this man to do. The Raiders pulled out, fight fiercely meal, let him rather die than live point. How dare this person will own black history, not black future be made public, so that they die in front of all of society. This hatred he got it point, but this time actually do not want to suddenly appear a multiple choice questions correct answers wins a prize. Got it wrong in punishment point. He Leng Heng loudly. I'm Loki adults. Rare your reward. He's not really do not care. He felt a deep malice from this site. He felt out of this site wants to engage in their own person is what this award. Not afraid of anything good. But Luther suddenly asked the question no one can answer it. Website responded. Can be Luther said without hesitation. I guess Loki was dead. This 221 as the judge issues. In Luther appears to be unable to use wisdom to solve point video to hint that last illusion of large cast Loki, though did not give a positive face, but it seems a bit far from old point. This seems to mean that Loki did not die point, but Loki Bud Master illusionist, who can determine this display their magic elderly Loki. Loki is not a phantom cast, and this picture is not is this site inducing others to come out point. So this choice, but to rely on guess, can only rely on luck point. Luther did not actually expect to get something. He was just curious if reward. What reward? If the punishment is what is the punishment? More about this strange site. Can he do next? Have a huge impact point website. The correct answer, a reward kryptonite. A Greenstone eye, and fell into the hands of Luther. The first audiences the face slightly changed point, because they recognized that was to become Superman weak Greenstone before the video point. The system also has this function. This kryptonite can deal with a mutant as powerful as Superman. Yes, they still think Superman is a mutant now point. Then maybe we can also get something that can deal with other enemies. Everyone is looking forward to the next multiple choice. Question. Sube has been watching videos for days and nights, day and night, and is now making up for sleep. Point. A voice resounded in his head. Someone answered the question correctly. Reward the fragments of Sube Phoenix Force. Sube slept in a daze, thinking it was just a dream, turned over and continued to sleep. As guard point. Seeing Sube's strategy, Odin's nose crooked point. The person who made this guide has bad intentions. He is trying to completely crook Loki. It is not a good thing. Point. Thor is even more direct. Loki, don't listen to this man's nonsense. It's just Thanos. Watch me cut off his dog's head. Iron Man said, I do care about this guy saying that there are a lot of people who are worthy of a fight with Thanos. I've seen Hela, I've seen Odin, but Scarlet Witch and Captain Marvel and the Ancient One magician. Nick Fury stopped hiding from him because he found out that if he doesn't know, maybe soon in these videos, he said, Captain Marvel is my foreign aide. Scarlet Witch, Ancient One magician. I don't know. Odin knew about Ancient One, but he didn't want to say it. Iron Man looked at Nick Fury hard. You have such a powerful Hulk card, but you're useless. When Loki is attacking Earth, these politicians are just a bunch of worms. How can they defend the Earth with them? He was even more determined to never cooperate with an organization like SHIELD. Nick Fury frowned even tighter. He wanted Iron Man so badly that he finally said, it's not that I don't want to. I saw Captain Marvel with my own eyes, defeating a fleet of Kree with my own power. Such power is scarier than nuclear weapons, and I don't want a man with such power back on Earth. There is some truth in what Nick Fury said. He believes in Captain Marvel's character, but Captain Marvel is too strong. If she fights with people on Earth, it can inadvertently affect countless human beings. Iron Man doesn't want to talk to Nick Fury anymore, though point. Such politicians can always find countless reasons, as long as they don't want to do something. Point. From Iron Man's point of view, Nick Fury obviously has the ability. But watching so many innocent people die without doing anything, saying anything is nothing. At this point Superman said, then we can watch the next video. I want to see my strategy. Everyone is meaningless. So Superman clicked on his strategy, and then his appearance appeared on the video. Earth name, Clark Kent. Kryptonian name, Kal-El. Nickname, Superman. Introduction, the son of Krypton, the god of the world. Because the yellow sun bathing the Earth has unimaginable power. He has an indestructible body of steel, can fly from a biological standpoint, has a speed comparable to the Flash, has unparalleled power. His eyes can see through everything, and he can send out a heat vision that destroys everything, and he has super hearing. As long as he wants to, he can hear everything on Earth. He can breathe out a breath of ice and freeze everything. His strength is almost perfect, unassailable. The same is true of his character. Usually, he's just a reporter for an ordinary daily planet, but when there is a crime, when someone encounters a crisis, he will put on tights and a red cape and become a Superman who helps the needy. Superman, also based on movies. Ask for 2 flowers, asterisk. Chapter 21. Chapter 21. Superman, Earth god. Earth name, Clark Kent. Krypton name, Kal-El. Just beginning to see these 2 names. Everyone feels right. Point. Batman muttered, so you are an alien. I always thought you were mutant. Superman shrugged his shoulders and said, you have not asked me, and I do not want this kind of thing just saying everywhere. Human, take that attitude in the face of mutant. I think if they knew I was Kryptonian, probably about the same attitude. Child killer, the world of God. Loki is a sneer, a mere aliens, actually dared to jeopardize called God. But he was not finished then. He saw Superman on the show. Well, his hands held up well fall on the video screen. Point. Bare fire burning in his body, as if suddenly feel Superman. Superman fallen so tall downhole easily. His sure there is no pressure. Point. Loki has not yet finished, then directly stuck. Point. Nepal sister, this kid is a little strong. Thor is not made, he said. This effort is good. Then They saw a Superman appeared in the Arctic. Red eyes shot directly to the ice melts. In the ice out of a channel point. Loki could not have been a little stretched, and this alien seems a bit really strong. Our point. Then he saw Superman easily lifted the sunken cruise ship. Flying to the shore. Point. Superman Seymour gently blew the fire went out of the sky. Point. In Superman do all this performance capability extremely easy, obviously. This is far from the limit for him. Loki's mouth has been open and gets some ear to ear. Even Odin's eyes have changed. Point. Odin said, parallel universe, Kryptonian, the title of the god of the world. Deserve the word seems to be in. Luthor's eyes became somber. He is a human supremacist, so that in their own world suddenly came out of God's earth. He is very unhappy. Point. Narrator continued, although there is significant far beyond human power, but Superman small to large do not feel happy, because he's difficult to integrate into human society. People's isolation made him feel like a freak. Superman to the screen just awakening, supervision and super hearing. Screen. Point. In his eyes, whether men and women have become skeletons. Shelf. He can be a person from start to finish to see the cleaners, and his mind full of inexplicable voice, presumably as next White said, you can hear the sound of the world, nor is it a bubble. Point. Loki felt his throat a little dry. It is from these manifested ability of view. This is called Superman aliens. Some strong outrageous narrator said, fortunately Superman met rustic farmers who grew adopted Superman. Superman train 3 concept. If Superman is to be a small black asterisk help, or careerists like cultured people grow up, and that this fear is another story. Superman is also one of the founders of the Justice League, also known as the Justice League of Soul, the first real enemy General Zod he encountered. Screen. Turn came a Kryptonian. Point. Everyone looked, exudes a glowing red light of the world, can feel like the world to the twilight. Point. General Zod led a group of people to stage a coup, but the coup failed, and they were sentenced to exile by the Kryptonian elders. Luthor looked at this picture and thought to himself, are these Kryptonians too? They don't show such exaggerated power, bathing the brilliance of the sun, the yellow sun. I understand, the power of the Kryptonians comes from the Sunday, but just cutting off the sun shouldn't do him any good. Luthor has already begun to look in his mind for a plan to defeat Superman. Point. No matter how good the narrator is about Superman, and how good Superman's character is, Luthor, a human supremacist, is not willing to put a human god on the head of human beings. Earth doesn't need Superman. Or in other words, humans are enough on their own, and humans don't need Superman. This is Luthor's idea. Point. The narration continues. Before Krypton was destroyed, Superman's father injected the Kryptonian code of life into Superman's body. Then he sent Superman to Earth. After the destruction of Krypton, General Zod and the others got out of trouble, and they started looking for Superman. It's not that they are looking for their compatriots, but they want to get the code of life in Superman and restore the glory of Krypton. General Zorro came to the Earth and wanted to use the code of life in Superman to turn the Earth into the second Krypton, but Superman refused. Superman fights General Zod. The screen shows a scene of the battle between Superman and General Zod. Point. The battle of two Kryptonians. They see General Zod holding Superman and crashing into the city. Everything received as in ruins. They flew to the sky, and they were all invincible. The sense of strength during the battle shocked everyone. Even Thor and Odin looked extremely solemn. These two Kryptonians are so strong. Batman's face is very ugly. He seems to understand why in the first video he will fight with Superman. Point. Because he saw the building owned by the Wayne Group destroyed by the battle between Superman and General Zod. Point. He would never be indifferent to such a thing. Point. Even if he has met Superman now and has worked with Superman, he never wants to see such a thing happen. Or, I need to help Superman defeat this General Zod without paying so much. The narration continued. General Zod, as Superman's first enemy, made Superman devastated and caused great casualties on Earth. But Superman still won. But it also gave Luthor a chance. Luthor calculated Batman and Superman, causing Superman and Batman to fight, and Luthor used General Zod's body to create Doomsday. What? As soon as I heard this Superman and Batman, I exploded. They immediately determined that in the first video, the monster that the two were fighting against was Doomsday. Was it Luthor's creation? Luthor still plotted against us. Why? Is he crazy? The two immediately glared at Luthor. Asterisk if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22 Human Backstab X2. Regarding the hostility of Superman and Batman, Luthor did not panic and said lightly, "I haven't done this yet. I found that the person who made this guide video really has bad intentions. Tony Stark and Loki will be enemies in the future, and it seems like you and I will be enemies too. Professor X and Magneto don't seem to be dealing with each other. He's purposely pulling those of us who don't deal with each other together. I'm afraid there may be some ulterior motive. In fact, everyone has felt this way for a long time, but no one said it." Loki snorted coldly. "I will definitely find out who uploaded these videos. I want him to know what is the price of offending a god." A disdainful smile appeared at the corner of Luthor's mouth, and he was extremely unhappy with these existences such as gods or aliens who thought they were superior to humans. In his opinion, only human beings are the spirit of all things, and he, Luthor, is the smartest person in the world. Only he can lead mankind to a brighter future. What a human god, a human beacon, Superman. He doesn't deserve it. I'm fit. The video continues to show Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman fighting Doomsday. Only this time the focus is on Superman's battle with Doomsday. The battle between the two was far more exaggerated than the previous battle with General Zod. They have similar skills. They can both emit terrifying heat sights from their eyes, and they both have incomparably powerful powers. The defense of Superman's body is better, and he hasn't been injured for so long, but Doomsday only has the high speed regeneration ability, which is enough to offset this disadvantage. Moreover, the more energy absorbing the Doomsday is, the stronger it is. It stands to reason that, if you keep fighting, Superman will lose. However, Superman's potential is also bottomless, and the more he fights, the stronger he has always been. On par with Doomsday, the Earth simply cannot withstand their ravages. Various buildings collapsed like building blocks. Various energy light waves shot indiscriminately. A fire broke out in the city, and the entire city was reduced to ruins. Batman pursed his lips. This B*******. Denamed Luthor was worse than Joker. Joker is evil, but he didn't kill so many people. Iron Man swallowed a mouthful of saliva. The battle between the two was more fearful than the Avengers' response to the Chitauri invasion. The three gods of Asgard did not speak anymore. The gods of the world really have a power spirit that rivals the gods. The narration sounded again. For Superman, Doomsday is a huge amount of crisis. But his crisis also comes from a human backstab. As soon as the screen turned, it turned to the human command that was paying attention to this battle. General Swan answered the phone and said, "The target is out of the city now, ready to send a black bullet to the target." The corners of Superman's mouth twitched. In another parallel universe, when New York is in danger, the only way that humans think of is to launch a black bullet. In their own universe, when humans encounter danger, the first thing they think about is to send black bullets. These politicians are disgusting. Superman is also a little unsure about whether I can survive the black bullet or not. In the video, General Swan says, "But Superman is still there." The other end of the phone said, "Well, God bless Superman." Seeing this scene, Magneto burst out laughing. "See, this is human beings. You are fighting for human beings, but they abandoned you. What a despicable race." Iron Man was also reminded of a sad past and could not help but sigh. Politicians are really all bugs, and they are completely unreliable. In the video, a black bullet is slowly rising into the air, going straight into outer space, and shooting towards the destroyer, and Superman choked Doomsday. Even if he saw the black bullet, he didn't let go. Then the whole video lit up suddenly, as if the sun was rising above the earth. Iron Man closed his eyes, unable to bear to look any further. Even Loki was speechless, because he could see that Superman's strength was completely able to evade this black bullet. But Superman didn't let go. An alien came to the earth to fight evil for the earth and face death without being shaken in the slightest. What kind of spirit is this? Is there really such a noble person in this world? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Professor X also sighed. It seems that even in a parallel universe, Human politicians are exactly the same. Completely untrustworthy. What a shame. Superman. Even Batman couldn't believe his eyes. Superman's character is more noble than he imagined. It's such a shame. Even if Superman's previous performance is so strong, Batman doesn't think Superman can survive the black explosion. Afterwards, the video returned to light, and Doomsday was blown away, with many wounds appearing on his body and falling to the ground. But its wounds are rapidly healing, and its strength is rapidly becoming stronger. After absorbing the damage of the black explosion, it actually became stronger, and Superman is suspended in space like that, except for his face becoming dry. He can't see any scars. Wolverine couldn't hold back, because he knew very well how terrifying the black pop was. Is he dead? Why do I feel like he's not dead? His face is just dry, and if it's hard black pop, he should be completely vaporized. Magneto opened his eyes wide and said in disbelief, his clothes are unscathed, and there are no scars on his face. The nuclear explosion seems to have evaporated the water in his body. How is this possible? Among the mutants he knows, no one can resist the black explosion. Black Emperor Sebastian can absorb any energy, but there is also an upper limit. If it reaches a black explosion, he will die. Iron Man rubbed his eyes, still not believing his eyes. Impossible. As a scientist and ex-arms dealer, he knows better than anyone how terrifying the power of the black bomb can be. At the moment of the explosion, the core temperature can reach the temperature inside the sun. Under this temperature, everything will be evaporated. Superman is at the core of the nuclear explosion. Is there any creature that can withstand the temperature of the core of a nuclear explosion? In his opinion, Superman wasn't dead either. He just seemed to be seriously injured. The God of Men. The God of Men. The name really deserves it. Thor's face also turned pale. So strong. Really strong. Have humans developed such a terrifying weapon? I don't know if I can handle it. The Asgardians have powerful divine powers, but their technology is equally advanced, and Thor naturally understands what a black bullet is. Even if he is as confident as he is, he doesn't have the confidence to hit it hard with a nuclear bomb. Superman really deserves the god of the world. But is he dead? Everyone has raised such questions, but I saw a light flashing on the horizon. The sun came out from the horizon, and the first ray of sunlight fell on Superman. Superman's face quickly went from dry to full. He opened his eyes and swooped down. This scene once again shattered everyone's three views. Good afternoon. Ask for flowers. Asterisk chapter 23. 23 Good relation. Gunpoint. No. How he even restore ability are so strong. Loki could not believe my eyes. Previously all feel Superman and destruction resumed compared ability not quite right. But now Superman just bask for a moment. The sun is actually black bomb bombing wounds to heal. Even the previous Scarface have disappeared. Very powerful force. Countless magical ability. Impregnable defense. There are so powerful recovery ability. Wolverine feel dry throat for a while. They might ability to restore this guy better than their own boar, but had not been hurt, so do not show it out. Iron Man, the world of God, joke, got, has so strong, Cthulhu. Loki is not the sandbags when people fight. Thor only know how to wield a hammer. Iron Man does not look dis about three princesses of Asgard. Loki was furious. Thor just mouth talking about God's world is not God. I'm the God. A mere nothing alien like jargon. Mutant has always been best in the world. In the world of Magneto nor by the pale. He had seen many powerful mutant, seen countless powerful ultra ability, but no one can be compared. And Superman. Superman is too powerful, ability too many. Too perfect. There is no shortboard. Wrong. Physical attacks on invalid for Superman. That physical attacks outside Nigeria. He could not help look to Professor X. Guess in my mind, I do not know Professor X can control Superman's mind. But then I thought, Superman is in another parallel universe. I found myself calm him down. Oh hey, I'm not in that world. I'm so suspicious. Why? Video sub, cut into Superman and Wonder Woman with competition screen. Destruction 8. Luther eyes light up at the woman, that this legend is not the information he collected to the woman found in it. Diana. That you are so strong but even with the Count Wonder Woman helper, and together they still kill Day of Destruction. Energy absorbing Day of Destruction can regenerate. The stronger the Vietnam War, it is not kill. Screen again a turn. Superman had kryptonite spear in his hand and rushed toward the Day of Destruction. They just poke a spear through the Day of Destruction. The destruction of those who cracked broke numerous energy brilliance. This time, it cannot be restored, but its also broken hand pierced the heart of Superman. Luthor eyes light up again, which is kryptonite. This kind of thing that can kill the Kryptonian. Narration sounded. Superman is Kryptonian. The destruction date is a product of Krypton. Superman with a kryptonite. Batman builds spears in destruction date to die. To be honest, Superman is not stupid. In this battle, although Batman useless, but Diana is not there yet. You let Diana with kryptonite spears to kill the Day of Destruction will not do it. Batman. Zinzada curse. I'm not at a critical time with the kind of greenstone fen. No, it should be destroyed. Krypton Day into a powder to make it weak. I'm just an ordinary human. You let me go to fight against this monster. It was to die. That is an idiot. However, there is no way I can make this a positive monster battle with it. Kryptonite is useful to deal with this kind of monster. But if you can't find kryptonite, what if you run out of kryptonite? What if there were other monsters that weren't made from kryptonite? Batman. Lost in thought again. Superman's eyes darkened. Am I dead? However, this video seems to make a lot of sense. I seem to be on the top during the fight, but I didn't expect this in this case. As long as I find Diana, even if Luthor brings Doomsday out, I don't have to die with it. No, now that I know this, I won't let anything from Krypton flow into Earth. And I won't let Luthor make Doomsday. The narration continues. Superman's ability and moral qualities are perfect, and he also has an incomparably powerful potential. He doesn't have to do anything in particular. Just being on Earth is enough to make those ghosts who covet the Earth have to reconsider. Hearing this, both Luthor and Batman were shocked. Are there threats from outside the world in our world too? Are they afraid to come to Earth? Because Superman is here, that Superman is dead, will they invade our world like Chitauri? This makes Batman feel like a joker, and Luthor feels angry. Wouldn't life be over without Superman? As long as I'm here, no matter who dares to invade the Earth, it will be a death. The Earth will be guarded by me. And only by me. Whether it's superhero or these supervillains, they're basically paranoid. They don't change their principles just because of a few words of Subai's strategy. Like Batman, he can change some ways of doing things, but never break his own principles. Professor X saw mutants' tragic future, and he had the mind to rise up against humanity. Subai's strategy just pushed me in this direction. Therefore, Luthor will never give up the idea of defeating Superman, proving that humans are stronger than Kryptonians, and making himself a beacon of humans. The narration continued. Superman's weakness is not just in kryptonite, but in his nature. He's a good guy. A really good guy. Good people are more likely to be pointed at guns, because people know that if you pointed a gun at you, you wouldn't kill him. So, now that he knows his weakness, why doesn't Superman use kryptonite technology to find a way to eliminate the effect of kryptonite on him? You are a Kryptonian. Your home world is a highly technologically advanced world. How can you only rely on your own brute force? The power is too strong, so you won't be able to use your brain. Also, you must know that you are fighting crime, and these people do all kinds of evil, and do whatever they can. If they can't deal with you, they will attack those close to you. Like, Luthor kidnapped your mother and your girlfriend Louise to get you into a fight with Batman. A good person deserves to be pointed at by someone with a gun. Why? Your relatives, the people you care about, should be threatened by these criminals because you are a good person. Isn't this too unfair to your loved ones? Superman, are you being too selfish? So, go learn magic. Superman. This turn of events almost broke everyone's waist. Please ask for flowers. Thank you for your flowers. It finally broke 1000, and I will add more today. Asterisk chapter 24 Scene Man, Magneto. Everyone was surprised enough to see aliens and various technologies, but they didn't think that Subai would suddenly say a magic word. This style feels so out of place, but then they thought, even gods like Loki Thor and Odin exist, so it's not surprising that magic exists just with the power of Superman. Is it necessary to learn magic? Is magic stronger than Superman? This can't be done. Even the three gods over there were scared by Superman. The narrator said, Superman has an incomparably powerful power, not weaker than any magic. Let Superman learn magic, so that he can better protect his loved ones. For example, he can learn divination like magic, and he can predict the good and bad luck of his relatives, and protect them in advance. For example, he can learn guardian magic, so that his relatives, even if he is not around, have magic protection, and will not be hurt. Although the power of magic may not be comparable to that of Superman, there are many magical magics that can be used to protect his loved ones, as long as Superman cannot be restrained by kryptonite, and as long as his relatives have no worries, then Superman can be hard-headed and turn over all enemies. The above is the strategy for Superman. I hope you like it. This is Sube's nonsense again. Superman hears it, but thinks it makes sense. I fight crime, but I don't want people close to me to be in danger. Luthor was even more upset. Superman is so strong. If Superman is doing what this guide says, it won't be more difficult to deal with. However, Luthor gained confidence in himself in an instant. There are always more ways than difficulties. Human beings are the most noble. I can always find a way to defeat you. The video ends, and then the question pops up. Question: was Superman dead or alive in the battle with Doom? Loki said immediately, he's definitely still alive. This man was blown up by a black bomb on the front and recovered after basking in the sun. How could he die from such an injury? Don't want to, the website replied. All learned to answer, but the answer is wrong. Superman is dead. Superman is really dead, but he will be resurrected. Everyone's faces turned in unison. Superman really died. Such a powerful Superman can even carry black bullets. Superman died because he was stabbed by the Doomsday. Luthor thought to himself, is the effect of kryptonite on Superman that much? Hope rekindled in him. Or Superman has a way to develop something that can fight against kryptonite, but I can definitely find a way to fight against kryptonite. Superman's face turned pale again. Did I really die like that? Somewhat sad. He looked at Luthor again. His eyes were very angry. Kidnapping my mother, kidnapping Louise, creating a Doomsday. You lunatic, why did you do this? Luthor made an innocent statement, spread his hands and said, I haven't done any of these things. He cursed in his heart. This website must be deliberately messing with itself. I must find out the mastermind behind this website and let him know the price of offending me. Luthor and Loki's face is also extremely ugly. Thor asked, there is a penalty for answering the wrong answer. Loki, what is your penalty? Loki gave him a hard look, but said nothing. He was directly deprived of 1000 years of life by the website. Although his lifespan is very long, the loss of 1000 years of lifespan is really too much. He couldn't get angry. Superman is really a waste, and he died so easily. On Earth, Sube was still sleeping. The website's prompt sounded. Someone answered the question incorrectly. Reward the Upmaster with 500 years of life. Bay just treated it as a dream and turned over again. Seeing Loki's appearance, everyone guessed that he suffered a big loss. At this point, Magneto said, I want to see the strategy for me. After speaking, Magneto clicked on his strategy, and he was also curious whether this strategy could help him achieve his goals. A video popped up, showing what a grey-haired Magneto looked like. Name: Eric Lensher. Codename: Magneto level 4 mutant, with the super ability to manipulate magnetic fields. The president of the Mutant Brotherhood. He is a radical of the radicals in Mutant. He led Mutant to resist the oppression of mankind throughout his life, trying to replace the status of mankind with mutant. It has something to do with his experiences as a child. The scene appeared again, Magneto's first awakening ability, and the famous scene of awakening ability being killed by the Black Emperor. Seeing this, everyone felt that Magneto would become an anti-human radical, which was a matter of course. The narration continued, his ability is powerful, and every shot is exceptionally grand. The Scene changed, and the adult Magneto was sitting in the tavern, with two elderly people sitting beside and opposite him, and a bartender on the other side. One of the elderly people drew a knife and stabbed Magneto. Magneto squeezed the old man's hand and grabbed the dagger, which was engraved in German. Magneto smiled. Blood and glory. What do you want to sprinkle first? The old man said in horror. We are just following orders, Magneto said coldly. Then let's sprinkle some blood first. After he finished speaking, he stabbed the dagger down, and with a slam, it pierced the old man's palm and firmly fixed his hand on the table. The old man cried out. Loki said disdainfully, I thought he was a great character, but he only knew how to bully some old men. Iron Man shook his head and said, you don't understand. It was an SS dagger, given by Hitler. Batman. But, do you have Nazis in your world too? Iron Man nodded. Professor X said, it seems that the Nazis are indispensable even in parallel universes. Then, another old man in the picture pointed a gun at Magneto. But the gun in his hand, out of control, turned to himself, and then to another person. No one pulled the trigger, but the gun went off. A Nazi fell. Then Magneto pulled out the dagger, and the dagger flew out, stabbing the Nazi with the gun to death. And then the dagger returned to Magneto's hand and stabbed the first Nazi again. Everyone didn't feel wrong and couldn't bear it, because they understood that this was Magneto's revenge against the Nazis, which made everyone feel happy. This is Magneto's famous scene, and that's just the beginning. Chapter 25 Magneto's famous scene, the scared Odin. Screen switching. Young Magneto, standing on a plane, holding the door with one hand and reaching forward with the other. A huge amount of shadows appeared on the sea surface below, and the sea water churned as if it had been boiled. Suddenly a huge amount of propeller rushed out of the sea, and then a whole submarine rushed out of the sea and flew into the sky. These viewers have seen the scene of Superman fighting Doomsday before. Although this scene now makes them grand, but it is not enough to surprise people. The screen switches again. Magneto and his party took him to the beach, and Magneto had a strange helmet on his head. Young Professor X is also here. Seeing this scene, Magneto and Professor X had mixed expressions on their faces, because this was the time when the two officially fell out. The next moment, countless warships in the distance launched countless missiles towards them. Magneto's face was calm, but he gently stretched out his hand and stopped all the missiles in the air. Professor X said, Eric, you said we were better humans than them, and it's time for us to prove it. Magneto just shook his head. The missiles headed in the air. Professor X said in shock, thousands of people are on those ships, and they only do what they are ordered to do. The words to do what was ordered apparently activated Magneto's memory. He remembered what that Nazi remnant had said. We were just following orders. Magneto shook his head. I've forgiven those who did what they were told once, but never again. Those missiles were like arrows from the string, but instead flew towards those warships. Both Iron Man and Batman felt a little bad this time, and human weapons were completely useless against this man named Magneto. Then the screen turns again. Magneto, with his bizarre helmet on, fell into the middle of the stadium and raised his hand. The entire stadium of huge amounts roared and then rose into the air like a cage, falling outside the White House, trapping the White House in it. Loki's face had become extremely ugly. Superman will not say. After all, it is an extraterrestrial creature, not a human. Why is this human named Magneto so strong? Such a comparison. It seems that my evil god is very weak. Iron Man finally couldn't help but said, you declared war on the human world. Professor X shook his head and said, this scene hasn't happened yet. Magneto said, looks like I'll get out of here soon. I'm going to declare war directly on humans. What happened? He wanted to know what happened, but what happened later? Subay didn't cut in. The screen switches again, and Magneto is in a dilapidated building with a few strange people. Seeing this, Magneto's expression changed immediately. The same is true for Professor X, who recognized the famous Auschwitz concentration camp here. The former Magneto was imprisoned here, and this is where Magneto's mother died. Then, a man covered in blue with a strange appearance that didn't look like a human said, that's it. Your power is more than that, and your power goes deep into the heart of the earth. The Ground shook, and sand and stones flew. The broken pieces of metal floated in the air, lining up like magnetic lines of force. In the distant human world, countless cars, ships, and containers flew into the sky. Human buildings collapsed one after another, and even the sunken ships on the seafloor flew up from the seafloor one by one. Everyone couldn't stand it anymore. Iron Man was shocked. You can control the magnetic field of the entire Earth. Batman's heart skipped a beat too. Although he saw it last time, he wasn't so detailed. It seems that Magneto can actually control the magnetic field of the entire Earth, which means that his power alone can destroy human civilization. Although the performance is not as intuitive and violent as Superman's power, the destructive power is more terrifying. There are such people in the parallel universe. If someone in my world is so powerful, what should I do? Thor's eyes widened, and he said in disbelief, how can mutant be so powerful? He can actually destroy a world with one person, even. Asgard has a magnetic field, and if Magneto does this once in Asgard will be destroyed. Really beeping a dog. I'm a dignified Thor, brave and invincible in the 9 realms. Why do 1 or 2 people come out now, and it seems that they are better than me? At least, I don't have the ability to destroy a world so easily. It just doesn't make sense. Even Odin looked sideways at the power Magneto showed. Such power is no different from divine power. This is not magician. I never imagined that human beings can be so powerful just by their ability. Professor X was even more nervous. Eric, what did you do? Although he also has the mind to fight back against humans now, he is still gentler than Magneto. Because mutant must be attached to human beings to exist. The number of mutants is too small, and it is not 2 mutants. The children born are mutants. Many people mutants come from ordinary human awakening. If you destroy human beings, you will also destroy the future of mutants. Magneto said in confusion. You stupid. This is something that will happen in the future. How do I know? Is my power so strong? The magnetic field that controls the entire world. Magneto began to think about this question. If he was really that strong, then this plastic prison would not be able to hold himself. Remember to turn the screen again. Magneto is suspended in the sky by himself, and below him are Professor X and a few unknown people, as well as the blue weirdo from before. Professor X and they were obviously knocked to the ground. Magneto threw 2 steel pillars to form an X to block the blue weirdo. Then countless steel torrents rushed towards the blue monster, so fast that the naked eye couldn't see it clearly. But the blue weirdo had a protective shield that blocked all of Magneto's attacks. Outside the shield, the sky was raining. No matter how much Magneto attacks, he can't break through. But at this time above the blue monster, a girl took a step forward and stood in the air like that. Then a powerful force erupted from the girl, directly shattering the defense of the blue monster. Behind the girl appeared a phoenix that was about to fly. Countless steel fell, pinning the blue monster to death. Seeing this scene, Odin has been calm on the surface, but he couldn't help but shout out, Phoenix Force, asterisk. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.